Right at his own wedding, he played an R-rated video. At first, friends and family thought he was just pulling a wild stunt to hype up the crowd. But when they looked closer, they realized the truth. The female lead in that video was none other than today's bride Liu Ruyan, and the male lead was definitely not him. While everyone was still in utter shock, they noticed that the bride, Liu Ruyan, hadn't even shown up yet, under the bewildered gazes of all the guests. He held a microphone in one hand and dialed Liu Ruyan's number with the other. She didn't pick up the first call. Undeterred, he called again. This time, after a few rings, the call finally connected. From the other end of the line, blaring car horns could be heard clearly. The guests at the venue could even hear the roar of an engine. Whispers broke out as everyone wondered where Liu Ruyan was driving at a time like this. Was the eldest daughter of the Liu family trying to become a runaway bride? He asked calmly. Where are you? Why did you leave? Liu Ruyan replied in an annoyed tone. I have something important to take care of. We can just make up for the engagement party later. He pressed on. What could possibly be so important that it matters more than our engagement? But Liu Ruyan's angry and impatient voice echoed through the phone. I already told you we'll make up for it later. I'm driving. I'm hanging up, he roared in anger. You think just saying you'll make up for it fixes everything? What do you take this entire venue for? And the guests who traveled all this way? What do you take our Chen family for? I spent 6 whole months preparing for this engagement, and you think you can just brush it all off with a well make up for it later? Finally, not even caring about ruining his own reputation, he snapped. Make up for it with who? Will I even be the groom by then? As soon as those words left his mouth, the entire hall fell dead silent. Liu Ruyan was also taken aback, wondering if this was still the same hopelessly devoted Chenmo she knew. Chenmo, what the hell are you talking about? Are you trying to cancel the wedding? I'm afraid I'm not the one who wants to cancel it, am I? I already told you. I have to rush to the hospital. Someone there is waiting for me to save their life. He scoffed. Are you a doctor? You think going there will magically save them? Then tell me, who exactly is lying in that hospital? Is he on his deathbed? That he can't even wait a single minute? To the point where you absolutely had to ditch our wedding ceremony. The crowd below, even the Liu family members, were incredibly confused. At a crucial moment like this, who could possibly have such a massive pull to make the famously aloof eldest daughter of the Liu family drop everything and leave right now, driving herself like a madwoman to the hospital? A moment later, Liu Ruyan's cold voice replied, my assistant. As soon as the name Yi Fan was heard, the crowd below completely exploded. Isn't Yi Fan Miss Lia's assistant? She personally hired him right after she graduated. I heard this. Yi Fan is quite the charmer, and he's incredibly close with the eldest Liu daughter. They're practically childhood sweethearts. Since when do wealthy families tolerate a sugar baby situation? Seeing the uproar all around, the matriarch of the Liu family, Liu Huiqin, couldn't sit still any longer. She immediately ordered her men onto the stage to snatch his phone. Too bad, he came prepared. He had spent a fortune hiring 200 tattooed thugs to guard every floor. He continued his interrogation. What happened to him? Is it a cold and fever this time? Or did he get hit by a bicycle? I've suspected the relationship between you two for a long time now. Who is the real CEO of the Liu family anyway? If he's just some lowly assistant, would the eldest daughter of the Liu family abandon her fiancé just to rush over and throw herself at him? Chenmo, don't cross the line. Can you drop the sarcastic remarks? He is both my assistant and my friend. Disrespecting him is disrespecting me. Hearing this, his heart skipped a beat. Right. Do you know the consequences of disrespecting this assistant? A ruined family, dying a gruesome death. In his past life, it was because of Yi Fan that he met an early grave. Now, reborn and returned, he would systematically destroy this dog couple's reputation. Let them be cursed for eternity. Making them famous in the most humiliating way possible was just the first step of his plan. Thinking of this, he continued coldly, it seems this friend is far more important than your fiancé. In that case, make your choice between me and Yi Fan. Who do you choose? Liu Ruyan never expected him to say such things, backing her into a corner like this. In her heart, she and Yi Fan were as close as siblings. How could he use such a petty mindset to judge their bond? Answer me. Who do you choose? He relentlessly pressed on. Liu Ruyan secretly weighed them in her mind. She felt that Yi Fan understood her better, always accommodating her every wish. She blurted out, I choose Yi Fan. After saying that, she hastily hung up the phone and slammed on the gas, speeding toward the hospital. But the moment those words left her mouth, she suddenly felt an inexplicable pang in her chest. It felt as if someone incredibly important was slipping away from her. On the other side, all the friends and family in the audience, after hearing her choice with their own ears, no longer wanted to say a single word in her defense. Her image as an aloof goddess was completely shattered. Old Madame Liu felt an unprecedented humiliation. She hated Liu Ruyan for being so foolish, and blamed him even more for being so ruthless, daring to blow things up in front of so many people. She immediately called over the Liu family servants standing nearby. Go find that unfilial granddaughter and drag her back here. Right now. Immediately. As for that Yifan, if he's dying, let him die. If he isn't dead yet, then run him over and finish the job. Meanwhile, Liu Rian had arrived at the hospital. Still wearing her pristine white wedding dress, she sprinted frantically down the hospital corridor. No one had ever seen a bride running through a hospital in full wedding attire before. Everyone was curious about what on earth had happened. A few romantic-minded girls had already cooked up a tragic accident scenario in their heads. This beauty's boyfriend must be gravely ill, suffering from a terminal disease, and probably won't make it through the night. That's why she came here in her wedding dress, to see him off on his final journey. Thinking of this, some girls couldn't help but take out their phones to snap pictures and post them on social media. In his past life, it was exactly because of this online uproar that after the identities of those involved were exposed, he was branded a cuckold for the rest of his life. In his past life, after Liu Ruyan ran away from the wedding, even though the Liu family punished her severely and intended to deal with Yifan, Liu Ruyan threatened them with her own life, just to keep him alive. As for a blindly devoted fool like him, of course, he chose to forgive her. His love was truly pathetic. He was mocked by keyboard warriors online as a wealthy playboy, a homewrecker who used his family's power to bully others, forcing the Liu family to marry her off to me. That he was the one who tore Liu Ruyan and Yifan apart. Meanwhile, Yifan played the real-life male lead, surviving against all odds. Even though he was unwilling, he still loved Liu Ruyan, always staying by her side to protect her. In the eyes of the public, he was the most vicious villain. Liu Ruyan knew all of this, but she never once spoke up to defend him. She only cared about protecting Yifan's reputation. In her eyes, he never even existed. Back at the wedding hall, he held the microphone looking down at the crowd and said with deep emotion, "The eldest daughter of the Liu family has made her choice. So, I will grant them my blessing." Although Liu Huiqin didn't know what he was going to say next, she felt a deep sense of unease. She was determined to stop him from speaking even if it killed her. Dragging her old body, she rushed onto the stage to intervene. "Chen Mo, whatever it is, we are family. Let's close the doors and talk this out privately. Ruyan is still young. She's naive and lost her sense of propriety. We will discipline her. Come down from there and give me the microphone." He looked at Liu Huiqin standing before him, the woman he had called grandma for so long. His expression couldn't help but turn a bit distant. The Chen family had always been small in number, even before he was born. His grandparents had passed away one after another. During high school, his parents also died in a tragic accident. Such a massive Chen family, and in the end, he was left all alone to shoulder the burden. Back then, the Liu family was the one who gave him care and warmth. But the Liu family's actions were driven by an ulterior motive all along. Their true ambition was to swallow up all of the Chen family's assets. Given a second chance at life, he absolutely would not let history repeat itself. "Madam Liu, you are a Liu, and I am a Chen. We are hardly family. Ever since your granddaughter made her choice, your grandson-in-law is no longer me. It's Yi Fan. As for me, I am now speaking to you as the head of the Chen family." Seeing that playing the emotional card was useless, Liu Huiqin looked desperately at the man on the stage. He turned back to look at the crowd below, and said with an apologetic expression, "I'm sorry, everyone. You all took time out of your busy schedules to attend my engagement party, only for it to turn into a farce. Like I said before, I am willing to step aside and grant them my blessing. Since the eldest daughter of the Liu family has already given her heart to someone else, how could I dare steal another man's love? From this day forward, Liu Ruyan and I officially annul our engagement." As soon as the words fell, his former father-in-law Qin Hai found courage from nowhere and charged straight onto the stage, aggressively trying to stop him from canceling the wedding. "I don't agree. I absolutely forbid this. Chen Mo, you have no right to make this decision." "Mr. Chen, what right do you have to disagree? Your daughter has already made her choice. She ran off chasing her true love. What do you expect me to do? Send people to kidnap your daughter and lock her up? Such immoral and illegal acts are things my Chen family will absolutely never do. My upbringing doesn't allow it either." Your words are no different from a slap to the Liu family's face. You're practically broadcasting that the Liu family has no upbringing, raising a shameless daughter. Qin Hai's face turned beet red. He continued, "Chen Mo, Liu Rian definitely doesn't know that the consequence of her choice is the annulment of this engagement. If she knew, she would definitely come back. Just give her one more chance." Facing Qin Hai's pleas, he smiled faintly and slowly shook his head. "Uncle Qin, how do you know I didn't give her a chance? She's the one who backed herself into a corner. Did you forget the video that played before the wedding started? Your daughter and Yi Fan have been fooling around for a long time. What's the point of you objecting? Your precious daughter is currently lying in the hospital right now. I think it's best if you go show some concern." "Oh, right, Madam Liu. Does your family's third generation still need to find a live-in son-in-law? If so, why didn't you say it earlier? I would have backed out in time to avoid causing such a massive misunderstanding." None of the guests present expected him to be this calm. His kingly aura left Qin Hai speechless. How could they let such an outstanding son-in-law slip away? He still tried to struggle, stepping closer to him and whispering quietly, "Wealthy marriages are always like this. You play your games, she plays hers. Ruyan has been with you for so many years. You can't just get bored and wash your hands of her. She was just momentarily confused. Forgive her. Marrying her is equivalent to getting half of the Liu family's fortune. For the sake of your past feelings and this wealth, just drop this whole annulment thing." In his mind, he was thinking, did a dog eat this old man's brain? Things have already escalated to this point, and you still want to force me to swallow this humiliation. Besides, Liu Ruyan and I have been completely pure up until now. Aside from hugging and kissing, we've never done anything else. I've already worn this green hat once, but I absolutely will not wear it a second time. My Chen family is not short on money. We don't need your Liu family's charity. While I'm at it, I'd like to announce a second matter. Starting today, the Chen family is no longer a strategic partner of the Liu family. Once our current projects are concluded, we will not sign any new projects with the Liu family. At this point, not only was Qin Hai stunned, but Liu Huiqin was also so terrified she could barely stand, overcome with fury. Liu Huiqin collapsed straight to the ground. "Get the old madam to the hospital now." The Liu family members hurriedly helped Liu Huiqin up and fled the scene. Seeing this, Qin Hai shook his head in dismay and also hurried away. As for him, he stayed behind to pacify the guests. Late at night, when all the guests had left, the noise faded away. The Chen family estate returned to its usual peace, but beneath that peace, turbulent waves were brewing. He and Shen Yuchu returned to the living room. The two of them drank hangover tea together. Neither said a word. Shen Yuchu was like a late autumn rose, though not flashy. She still exuded an irresistible charm. If Liu Ruyan was a snow lotus on an icy mountain, then Shen Yuchu was more like a black rose. Shen Yuchu was 3 or 4 years older than him. Not long after the Chen family adopted her, his mother became pregnant with him, even though the Chen family had him. They never gave this adopted daughter the cold shoulder. They always cared for and loved her like their own flesh and blood. Finally, Shen Yuchu broke the silence. "Are you really going to just let this go? After how Liu Ruyan treated you? I really can't stand her. How could she betray your true feelings like that?" Saying this, Shen Yuchu burst into tears. At this moment, he no longer tried to hold it together. He stopped pretending that everything was fine. His whole body seemed to collapse as he slumped into the chair. His eyes were hollow, filled with pain, despair, helplessness, and disbelief. Even after being reborn, he still couldn't believe Liu Ruyan would treat him this way. The humiliation of her running away from the wedding was just the tip of the iceberg. What he had to endure went far beyond just today, compared to 10 years ago, when Liu Ruyan, in order to avenge Yi Fan, ruthlessly turned him into a vegetable. He comforted her. "This definitely won't end here. Liu Ruyan is secondary. I will make the Liu family pay the price for their choice. What do you think is the most important thing?" To a woman, without waiting for Shen Yuchu to answer, he continued, "Today, I directly exposed photos of Liu Ruyan's affair, making them public for everyone to see, even though it's a double-edged sword, hurting myself in the process. For the rest of her life, Liu Ruyan can forget about marrying into any wealthy family ever again. The Liu family will absolutely never allow Liu Ruyan to be with Yi Fan. We don't even need to lift a finger. The Liu family will deal with those two themselves. As for us, we just need to deal with the Liu family. I will make sure the Liu family is doomed beyond redemption." He gripped his teacup tightly, speaking with utter ruthlessness. His eyes radiated a fierce, vicious glint, overflowing with murderous intent. Shen Yuchu had never seen Chenmo like this before. She felt as if he had turned into a completely different person. "All right, Chenmo, I will always support you. The Chen family is your backing. Together, we'll make them pay back 10 times over." Shen Yuchu walked over to his side and reached out to rub his forehead, exactly like she did when they were kids. He looked at this face he had missed so dearly in his past life after he became a vegetable. Shen Yuchu came to take care of him every single day, turning his body, massaging him. She did everything herself. She would even tell him about what was happening in the outside world, and at the end, she would always rub his head. Unable to hold back, he stood up and pulled Shen Yuchu into a tight embrace. He didn't know where Liu Ruyan had taken Shen Yuchu in his past life, or what her ultimate fate was. Right up until his death, he had always regretted it. Why did he ever love Liu Ruyan and let her harm his own family? He swore to himself. In this life, the one person he could never let down was Shen Yuchu. He buried his face in Shen Yuka's neck, breathing in her familiar scent. The feeling of regaining what was lost made him break down. He sobbed uncontrollably, caught off guard by his sudden embrace. Shen Yuka's soft body stiffened. It had been years since they grew up. The two of them hadn't hugged like this. After all, it could be said that he was practically raised single-handedly by Shen Yuchu. Ever since you were little, you'd always tag along behind Shen Yuchu, until you grew up and met Liu Ruyan. Because of Liu Ruyan, you distanced yourself from Shen Yuchu. Hearing you cry, Shen Yuchu thought you were still hung up on Liu Ruyan. Her heart trembled slightly. She wrapped her arms around you, gently rubbing the back of your neck. Just like when she used to comfort her crybaby little brother back in the day. You cried your heart out, letting out all the pent-up grievances in your chest. You felt so much better afterward. A surge of anger rose in Chen Mo's heart. Sis, you should get some rest. We're heading to the company tomorrow. There's still a lot of work to handle. With that, Chen Mo strode out the door. It's so late, where are you going? You're still going out, Shen Yuchu asked worriedly. I'm making a trip to the bridal house. There are some things I need to get back. They're mom and dad's belongings. I can't just leave them with Liu Ruyan, he explained calmly, knowing Chen Mo wasn't going back to Liu Ruyan out of regret. Shen Yuchu didn't say anything more. After Chen Mo had someone escort his adopted sister out of the Chen estate, and once she was out of sight, Shen Yuchu scoffed coldly to herself. The Liu family. It's time we settle our debts once and for all. Shen Yuchu was no mere eye candy. At just 22, she was able to hold up the entire Chen family, keeping it standing strong and unyielding. That alone was enough to prove her capabilities in his previous life if Chen Mo hadn't indulged them, and directly stripped Shen Yuchu of her power. How could the Liu family have ever usurped the Chen family's legacy? They even caused Shen Yuchu to be taken away by Liu Ruyan. Tianhai Pavilion was a luxury villa estate developed by the Liu family, and this was exactly where Chen Mo and Liu Ruyan's marital home was located. He opened the door and walked straight into the villa. Looking at this room that felt both familiar and foreign, his mind was a tangled mess of emotions. A deep, agonizing pain surged from the bottom of his heart. Actually, he originally planned to live in the old Chen family manor after getting married, but Liu Ruyan refused. She didn't like the traditional decor of the old estate. Right at that time, the residential project developed by the Liu family was just completed. So, Liu Ruyan forced him to buy their marital home here. Villa No. 1. The most expensive property in Tianhai Pavilion came with a staggering price tag of 150 million yuan. It was thanks to him taking the lead in buying a house here that this originally stagnant project suddenly came back to life. His wealthy friends followed suit and bought properties here as well, because who wouldn't want to get a little closer to the Chen family? After that, he spent another 50 million yuan on renovations, tailoring every single detail to Liu Ruyan's exact tastes throughout the 6 months of construction. He personally supervised every step of the process. He used to think that, since this would be their lifelong home together, there couldn't be a single flaw, but in the end, he just handed it over for Yifan to enjoy. After he was paralyzed and reduced to a vegetative state, Liu Ruyan kicked him out and sent him back to the old Chen family manor, while she gifted this very place to Yifan. It was precisely because Liu Ruyan wanted to give this marital home to Yifan that she was in such a hurry to get rid of him. At the time, he had no idea that after he became a vegetable, the marital home he had painstakingly built brick by brick would turn into a love nest for Liu Ruyan and Yifan. Did those two fool around right on his wedding bed? That was also the reason why Shen Yuchu flew into a furious rage, brought her people straight to their door, and beat Yifan until he was completely crippled. This very act also brought a fatal disaster upon Shen Yuchu. Thinking about all of that, his heart ached as if being sliced by a knife. A mouthful of fresh blood spewed from his lips. The dark red blood splattered across the pristine white carpet in the living room, looking glaringly harsh. Overwhelmed by the heartbreak, he collapsed onto the floor and passed out. Meanwhile, at Hangzhou Central Hospital. At this moment, Liu Ruyan was still completely unaware that she was about to become the center of public outrage across all of Hangzhou. She stayed by Yifan's hospital bed, holding his hand tightly with both of hers, looking at Yifan lying there with a pale face. Her heart ached for him. Fortunately, Yifan was fine. He only suffered some minor scrapes and had no internal injuries, but the impact had caused him to faint, and he still hadn't woken up. Liu Ruyan had been keeping watch by his bed for over 2 hours. Without even blinking, she had absolutely no idea what had happened at the old Chen family manor, nor did she realize that she had just become infamous throughout Hangzhou. Only this kind of fame wasn't exactly glorious. Earlier, when she rushed into the hospital looking for Yifan, someone had recorded her and posted it online. The public opinion on the internet was still praising their tragic and epic love story. Netizens were busy complimenting Liu Ruyan's beauty, while applauding their undying, steadfast love. The story quickly went viral. The internet was flooded with blessings from netizens. Unfortunately, the narrative was quickly flipped on its head. The guests who attended her engagement party knew the truth, and they quickly changed the tune online. Let me tell you, what kind of bullshit love story is this? That's not what happened at all. This woman is Liu Ruyan, the eldest daughter of the Liu family in Hangzhou, and the guy in the hospital is her assistant, Yifan. Tonight was supposed to be her engagement party with the young master of the Chen family. She abandoned her fiancé, Shen Mo, right at the altar, and ran to the hospital still wearing her engagement dress, all to see her secret lover. Boyfriend, my ass. They're just a pair of cheating scumbags, and yet you guys are out here giving them your blessings. I must be blind. You guys are pissing me off so much I could cough up blood. This netizen took the whole story about him and Liu Ruyan, along with Yifan, explained it in full detail, and posted it online. They even attached photos taken at the engagement party. In the photos, he was clearly standing alone on the stage. His handsome face was filled with disappointment and despair, and on the big screen behind the stage was a picture of Liu Ruyan in her pajamas, alone in a room with Yifan. The logic was sound. The evidence was irrefutable. It proved beyond a doubt that Liu Ruyan was having an affair with Yifan. This time, public opinion instantly shifted. Liu Ruyan had no idea that the internet had already exploded into a massive controversy. After arriving at the hospital, she had turned off her phone because people kept calling her nonstop, and she was afraid it would disturb Yifan's rest. Another reason was that she didn't know how to explain herself to her family and the Chen family, so she simply shut it off for some peace and quiet. The way she saw it, Chen Mo was just having a hard time accepting it in the moment. Once she went back and explained it to him in person, she would easily be able to coax him, as long as Chen Mo wasn't mad and forgave her. The Liu family wouldn't punish her. She would just wait for the right time, make Chen Mo give her a proper apology, and then force him to propose to her all over again. Once he was happy, she would forgive Chen Mo for his overbearing behavior today, and then she would just marry him. How dare he force me to make a choice? I'm going to give him the cold shoulder for a week this time. I need to teach him a proper lesson, daring to talk back to this princess. But I'll still marry him in the end. When the time comes, I'll have Yifan be the groomsman. After we get married, I want to have 2 kids. The son has to take the Liu family name. Yeah, that's what I'll do. He had been by her side for so many years. And it had always been like this. No matter how out of line he was, as long as he stood before her, she would forgive him. After all, she was the noble princess, and he was her loyal knight. But this time, she was clearly overthinking it. Her knight was already dead, killed by her very own hands, while Liu Ruyan was still lost in her delusions. The hospital room door was suddenly kicked open. Liu Ruyan jumped in shock, and Yifan, lying on the bed, flinched in fright as well. Still hasn't woken up. Liu Ruyan was terrified that Chen Mo had come looking for them. She was incredibly anxious at that moment, so she completely missed the strange expression on Yifan's face. The person who had just arrived was Qin Hai. He walked into the room with a stern face, followed by a few bodyguards. As soon as Liu Ruyan saw it was Qin Hai. She immediately breathed a sigh of relief. "Why are you here?" Liu Ruyan's tone was ice cold, without a single ounce of respect for her own father. Qin Hai seemed to have long gotten used to this. He didn't get angry, but simply said slowly, "Ruyan, your grandmother was so furious she passed out. She's currently in the hospital room right next door. You need to go check on her right now." Hearing Qin Hai's words, Liu Ruyan hurriedly let go of Yifan's hand and stood up. How could Grandma be so angry that she passed out? Why didn't you tell me sooner? What the hell is Chen Mo doing? He can't even handle a tiny little issue like this, and even let Grandma get so mad she fainted. Doesn't he know how to calm her down first? Where is he? Did he follow you here? I need to give him a piece of my mind and see exactly how he handled things. Liu Ruyan's stunningly beautiful face was covered in a layer of frost, and her words were full of resentment. She didn't even bother to spare Qin Hai a single glance, as she marched straight out of the room to look for Chen Mo. Oh boy, she was pushing all the blame onto him, completely ignoring the fact that her abandoning the wedding halfway through was the very cause of this entire mess. Of course, she still didn't know that right after she chose to leave with Yifan, Chen Mo had publicly announced the cancellation of their engagement. Qin Hai didn't tell her either. He just cast a cold, indifferent glance at Yifan lying on the bed and let out a disdainful scoff. He spoke up, "Stop acting. I got tired of playing these cheap little tricks of yours lifetimes ago." Yifan remained motionless on the bed, as if he were truly in a deep coma. "Fine, keep playing pretend." Qin Hai seemed to have seen right through him, but he didn't expose him directly. He ordered his bodyguards, "You two stay here and keep an eye on him. Don't let him take even half a step out of this room." With that said, Qin Hai walked out as well, and right at that moment, the eyelids of Yifan, who was lying on the bed, twitched slightly. He seemed to want to open his eyes to check the situation outside, but the moment he cracked his eyes open just a sliver, he saw 2 burly figures standing guard, scaring him so much that he hurriedly went back to playing dead. Liu Ruyan walked up to the door. Sure enough, outside the VIP ward next door, the Liu family's bodyguards were standing guard. With a grave expression, she stepped into the room, only to see her frail, elderly grandmother lying on the bed, still unconscious. She was so terrified that she burst into tears and hurriedly asked Nanny Wang, her grandmother's trusted servant, "What happened to Grandma? How did she end up like this?" Nanny Wang hesitated, wanting to speak but stopping herself. She had worked for the Liu family for over 50 years, staying by Liu Huiqin's side since she was young, and had watched Liu Ruyan grow up with her own eyes. She couldn't believe that Liu Ruyan could do something so incredibly foolish. But now, the truth was right in front of her eyes. The eldest daughter of this family had actually abandoned her fiancé to run to the hospital to see her assistant, and right in the middle of her engagement ceremony, no less. Nanny Wang let out a heavy sigh and said softly, "Eldest miss." The matriarch suffered a surge of rage to her heart. She just fainted. It's nothing life-threatening. She should wake up in a little while. Before Liu Ruyan could ask anything else, Liu Huiqin, lying on the bed, heard the commotion and woke up right after. Seeing this, Nanny Wang quickly rushed over to help old Madame Liu sit up. Liu Ruyan also hurried over to help. "Grandma, are you okay? How are you feeling now? Where is Chen Mo? You fainted like this. Don't tell me he didn't even follow you here." Liu Ruyan didn't mention a single word about her running away from the wedding. She didn't even realize that it was entirely because of her, that her grandmother had been so furious she passed out. On the contrary, she naturally assumed that it was Chen Mo's fault for not taking good care of her. Grandma is already in the hospital, and he didn't even bother to show up. But Liu Huiqin decisively pushed Liu Ruyan away. She said in disgust, "Get away from me. I don't have a granddaughter like you." Only then did Liu Ruyan realize that her secret was out, but she still put on a nonchalant face as if nothing had happened. "Grandma, what are you talking about? Wasn't it just an engagement party? We can just hold another one to make up for it later, right? I'll explain everything clearly to Chen Mo. I'll call him right now and tell him to come over and apologize to you." After saying that, Liu Ruyan took out her phone, turned it on, and was about to call Chen Mo. But Liu Huiqin immediately stopped her, because Liu Huiqin knew very well that Liu Ruyan was still completely in the dark about what was happening outside. Chen Mo had already announced the cancellation of the engagement. If Liu Ruyan maintained that kind of attitude and just casually called him up, it would only do more harm than good and make Chen Mo even more furious. By then, there wouldn't be a single shred of hope left to salvage the situation. "Don't call him yet. Listen to what this old woman has to say first." Naturally, Liu Ruyan didn't dare to disobey her grandmother at this moment, so she obediently put her phone away. "Grandma, go ahead." Liu Huiqin leaned back against the hospital bed, then told Nanny Wang to go outside and close the door. After Nanny Wang left, only Liu Huiqin and Liu Ruyan were left in the room. Liu Huiqin's expression instantly changed, and she flew into a towering rage. She barked sternly, "Do you have any idea what you're doing? Do you think that just because I'm old and senile, I can't control you anymore? How dare you do something so utterly disgraceful to our family? You've completely dragged the Liu family's name through the mud." Liu Ruyan was so scared she trembled all over, tears of grievance streaming down her face like rain. She didn't understand what was going on, or why her grandmother was so furious. "Grandma, what did I do wrong? Why are you scolding me like this? What did I do to disgrace the family? What did you do? You still have the nerve to ask me. Tell me, who is that person in the ward next door? What is his status? What right does he have to stay in a top-floor VIP ward?" The more Liu Huiqin spoke, the angrier she got. She had already given Liu Ruyan plenty of face. If it had been anyone else, she would have cursed them out so badly they wouldn't even be able to show their face. Even though Liu Ruyan and Chen Mo weren't married yet, they were already engaged. Liu Ruyan's current actions were a blatant violation of a woman's virtue. In Liu Huiqin's era, a woman like this would have been drowned in a pig basket. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan froze in shock. She had never told her family about Yi Fan's existence, other than Chen Mo. Everyone else only knew Yi Fan as her assistant. Liu Ruyan felt utterly betrayed. She hurriedly asked, "Grandma, how did you know Yi Fan was here? Was it Chen Mo? Who snitched on me to you? How could he do something like that? Didn't I already make it clear to him? Yi Fan and I don't have any other kind of relationship. Yi Fan is just my assistant. He's being way too petty." Liu Huiqin was so furious she actually laughed. "An assistant? What kind of assistant is he? One that can make you abandon your own wedding halfway through to run off? Whose assistant gets hospitalized and forces the CEO to keep watch by their bedside? You call that a boss-assistant relationship? Who the hell would believe that? Do you take everyone for a fool?" Faced with Liu Huiqin's relentless questioning, Liu Ruyan was at a complete loss for words. She didn't know how to explain to her grandmother the relationship between her and Yi Fan, but she was absolutely certain that it wasn't a romantic relationship. Her feelings for Yi Fan were mostly familial, a kind of kinship without blood ties. But if she said that out loud, would her grandmother even believe her? At this point, the only person who could resolve this issue was Chen Mo. As long as he stepped up and explained things for her, her grandmother would definitely believe it. She wanted to call Chen Mo again, to tell him to come over. Seeing this, Liu Huiqin didn't stop her anymore, but simply said flatly, "Don't waste your breath. I'm guessing Chen Mo won't be answering your calls right now." Liu Ruyan didn't believe her. She dialed the number directly. But Chen Mo truly didn't pick up. If it were in the past, this would have absolutely never happened, as long as she called Chen Mo. He would pick up in less than 3 seconds. But today, Liu Ruyan called 3 times in a row, and there was still no response from the other end. "Oh, my dear granddaughter, let me tell you the truth." Liu Huiqin sighed deeply and recounted everything that had happened after she left, explaining it all to Liu Ruyan in full detail, from the moment he called her on the phone, to when he forced Liu Ruyan to make a choice, and finally to him publicly announcing the cancellation of their engagement. The only thing she left out was the photo of Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan entering the hotel. She didn't mention that part, but even that was enough to make it impossible for Liu Ruyan to accept. Hearing that Chen Mo had publicly canceled the engagement in front of everyone, she froze, completely stunned. Her face was filled with sheer disbelief. How could this be? He loves me so much. How could he just cancel our engagement so easily? No, I have to go find him. I need to ask him what the hell he means by this. How dare he do something like this? Saying that, Liu Ruyan was about to rush out. Come back here. What good will it do if you go now? Liu Huiqin looked at her granddaughter, who still couldn't tell right from wrong. She finally realized how much she had failed in raising her. In this whole mess, Liu Ruyan was the one in the wrong. Chen Mo simply didn't want to keep indulging her anymore. Tell me the truth right now. What exactly is your relationship with that boy in the next room? How far have you two gone? Liu Ruyan froze at her grandmother's question. Her eyes darted away evasively. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. Grandma, what are you talking about? What kind of relationship could Yi Fan and I possibly have? You have to believe me. We're really just colleagues. Or maybe just friends. Don't listen to Chen Mo's nonsense. When I said on the phone that I chose Yi Fan, I just meant that I had to come to the hospital. I didn't mean that between Yi Fan and Chen Mo. I was choosing Yi Fan. How could I ever give up on Chen Mo? That's absolutely impossible. That last sentence from Liu Ruyan was actually the truth. She was mostly just furious at being backed into a corner by him, which was why she blurted out that she chose Yi Fan without thinking. Thinking back, that statement was definitely problematic. Chen Mo was clearly digging a trap for her, letting Liu Ruyan jump right in. There was no way Liu Huiqin would believe Liu Ruyan's bullshit. She knew full well that Liu Ruyan wasn't telling the truth. Liu Huiqin was deeply disappointed. Things have already come to this, yet Liu Ruyan still wanted to beat around the bush. She was so furious her chest ached. Liu Ruyan, are you still refusing to tell the truth even now? Even I don't buy this excuse. So there's no way any of the guests here will believe you. Keep in mind that tonight's guests are all prominent figures. Many of them are our family's business partners. We have ongoing business ties with them. If the scandal of your affair gets exposed, do you have any idea how much damage it will cause the Liu family? Liu Ruyan was stunned. She asked in shock. Affair? What affair? Who told you I was having an affair? Liu Huiqin didn't bother explaining. She simply pulled out her phone and showed her the photos of her and Yi Fan. Liu Ruyan opened the photos. Her eyes widened in absolute horror. Where did you get these? Who took these pictures? Never mind where I got them. Let me tell you this. Whether something happened between you two or not, that Yi Fan is dead meat. Even if the Chen family doesn't make a move, the Liu family will never let him off the hook. He is the biggest stain on your life. Liu Ruyan was still busy recalling the events in the photos. When she heard Liu Huiqin threatening to eliminate Yi Fan, she hurriedly tried to stop her. No, you can't touch him. I won't allow it. If you want to kill him, you'll have to kill me first. Liu Huiqin collapsed onto the bed, too furious to even speak. Liu Ruyan didn't even care about her grandmother's reaction. Right now, she needed to clarify immediately what the deal was with these photos. I remember now. This was when Yi Fan and I went on a business trip last week. He came to my room that night for work. We were only in the room to discuss company matters. In the end, because he accidentally spilled coffee on me, I had to change my clothes. You have to believe me. You raised me yourself. How could I ever do something so shameless? Hearing Liu Ruyan say this, Liu Huiqin was half convinced, half doubtful. These photos, although they didn't capture what happened inside the room, a man and a woman alone in a room in the dead of night. And to top it off, Liu Ruyan was wearing a nightgown while seeing Yi Fan out. No matter how you looked at it, it was incredibly shady. Liu Ruyan's explanation simply didn't hold water, seeing that her grandmother still didn't believe her. Liu Ruyan said bluntly, Grandma, if you still don't believe me, we're in a hospital right now. Call a gynecologist in here right away. I'll let them examine me immediately. Let them see if I'm still a virgin or not. Hearing her granddaughter swear so adamantly, Liu Huiqin believed her a bit more, but that made her even more confused. If her granddaughter and Yi Fan weren't romantically involved, then why was Liu Ruyan protecting him to such an extent? Liu Ruyan knew she couldn't hide the truth about Yi Fan forever. She had no choice but to come clean. Liu Ruyan recounted how Yi Fan joined the Liu Corporation a year ago, seeing that he was quite capable. She directly transferred him to be her personal assistant. Gradually, she felt that Yi Fan was very special, completely different from her other suitors who passionately declared their love. And unlike Chen Mo's meticulous, overbearing care, Yi Fan stood out more and more. And for 3 generations of the Liu family, there hadn't been a single son in the entire clan. She had always longed for a boy in the family since she was young. Yi Fan's appearance perfectly fulfilled that desire. Over the past year, Liu Ruyan became increasingly reliant on Yi Fan, even willing to accommodate his unreasonable demands. After hearing this, Liu Huiqin wanted nothing more than to slap Liu Ruyan across the face. You call that a younger brother? What kind of brother acts like that? You have absolutely no blood relation. Yet you two are practically inseparable. Who would ever believe that? Except for Chen Mo, that fool blinded by love. But now, he's not a fool anymore. He's finally woken up. No wonder Chen Mo handled this so calmly. He had accumulated too much disappointment until it ultimately turned into despair. His misplaced trust was only met with even more outrageous behavior. That's exactly why he publicly called off the wedding at the altar. Liu Huiqin beat her chest and stomped her feet, crying out, "What kind of terrible karma has the Liu family sown? How did I end up with a granddaughter like you?" Hearing her grandmother's scolding, Liu Ruyan felt incredibly aggrieved. Just then, urgent knocking came from the door. Qin Hai stood outside and asked, "Mother, I have an urgent matter to report. May I come in?" Qin Hai hurried over to Liu Huiqin with a tablet in hand. "Mother, Ruyan's scandal has blown up all over the internet. Public opinion is heavily against us right now. What do we do?" Liu Huiqin was already disgusted by his panicked demeanor, showing absolutely no backbone or decisiveness. He couldn't even compare to Chen Mo, a young man in his 20s, yet so composed. "What are you panicking for? Look at your pathetic state." Being yelled at by Liu Huiqin, Qin Hai became even more submissive. Liu Ruyan, standing to the side, also shot him a look of disdain. Deep down, she had never liked her father. If it weren't for the fact that the Liu family had no sons, her mother would never have found a man like him to marry into the family as a live-in son-in-law. He can't even stay as calm as us women when things go wrong. Qin Hai truly was completely useless. He couldn't even give the Liu family a grandson. After her mother passed away, the Liu family grew to despise Qin Hai even more. Qin Hai was long used to it, so he didn't even get angry. "Mother, why don't you take a look first?" Liu Ruyan took the tablet and read the news alongside Liu Huiqin. But it didn't take long for Liu Ruyan to start trembling with rage. Liu Huiqin even collapsed, passing out from anger once again. It turned out the story was spreading like wildfire online. Public opinion was completely polarized. More and more people were sympathizing with Chen Mo because many insiders had posted everything Chen Mo had done for Liu Ruyan over the years onto social media. Someone even leaked the list of betrothal gifts the Chen family had given the Liu family. It was all out in the open. As soon as netizens saw it, they all agreed that the Liu family was utterly heartless. This time, no matter how Liu Ruyan tried to explain herself, it would be useless. Even if she claimed that she and Yi Fan only had a sibling-like relationship, would anyone actually believe her? Everyone was criticizing Liu Ruyan, dragging the entire Liu family down with her. Some people online were even calling for a boycott, urging everyone to never use any Liu family products ever again. When the stock market opens tomorrow, anyone holding Liu Corporation stocks will definitely sell them all off. The outcome was already crystal clear. Tomorrow would be a nightmare for the Liu family. If this matter wasn't resolved smoothly, the Liu family would have a hard time recovering. They had worked so hard over the years to siphon resources from the Chen family, just to reach their current status. The stock price was bound to plummet. What should we do? "Grandma, what do we do now?" Liu Ruyan was finally tasting the bitter karma she had sown. Her bad reputation was spreading far and wide, bringing ruin to the entire Liu family. Truly a case of the family paying for the child's sins. "What do we do? You still have the nerve to ask me what to do? How the hell should I know? When you were doing all those things, why didn't you think there would be a day like this?" Slap. Grandma Liu Huiqin truly couldn't hold back anymore, delivering a resounding slap right across Liu Ruyan's face. Liu Ruyan clutched her face and sobbed, feeling both pain and resentment. "Grandma, I was wrong. I know I messed up. Is Chen Mo really going to abandon me?" "No, Grandma. I don't want to cancel the wedding. I still love him. I never betrayed him. I didn't cheat on him." Liu Ruyan was no longer the aloof ice goddess, nor the noble snow lotus. She looked like an abandoned pet, utterly pathetic. "Now you know you're wrong. It's too late. If you wanted to fool around, you should have at least covered your tracks. Instead, you made such a public spectacle of it, as if you were afraid the whole world wouldn't know that you were keeping a boy toy on the side. Now look what you've done. You've driven yourself into a dead end and dragged the entire Liu family down with you." Looking at the comments online, Liu Huiqin couldn't believe that Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan were just like siblings. The old lady's eyes welled up with tears. She could already picture the scene of the Liu family's century-old legacy going down the drain. She hated Liu Ruyan, but she hated Chen Mo even more for blowing this out of proportion. Publicly canceling the wedding wasn't enough for him. He even leaked the news online to incite public outrage. If she knew she was taking the fall for such a massive scandal, she probably would have coughed up blood from anger again. At this moment, Qin Hai stepped forward and said to the old lady, "Mother, how do you think we should handle this situation now? How else can we handle it?" Qin Hai paused for a moment, thought about it, and said, "Mother, we need to take a two-pronged approach. First, we must handle the public opinion online. We need to quickly contact the authorities to block the information and suppress the story. The second step is to find Chen Mo immediately and force him to hold a press conference. We'll make him take all the blame, Liu Ruyan and Liu Huiqin looked at each other in bewilderment. Both of these steps were incredibly difficult tasks. Knowing the method is one thing, but executing it is the real challenge, especially forcing Chen Mo to step forward and making him take the fall. What fault did he even have in this? Even Liu Ruyan herself couldn't find a single reason. Qin Hai voiced his thoughts, leaving the two Liu family women completely dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that a useless son-in-law and an incompetent father could actually come up with such an idea. Just a moment ago, Liu Huiqin was scolding Qin Hai for being reckless and useless. Yet in the blink of an eye, she was slapped in the face by reality. Qin Hai's 2 steps. First, regarding the online public opinion. This is actually very easy to handle. The Liu family has its own entertainment company. We just need to find a few A-list celebrities and manufacture a few juicy scandals. They will definitely be more sensational than Liu Ruyan's scandal. The netizens' attention will soon be diverted. Next, regarding Yi Fan's identity. The Liu family might as well just take him in. Let Liu Huiqin publicly adopt him as an adopted grandson. If we do that, the relationship between Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan will no longer be an issue. Finally, and most importantly, we need Chen Mo to step forward. Have him explain to the public that, out of extreme jealousy, he acted impulsively and misunderstood the relationship between Yi Fan and Liu Ruyan, which blew things out of proportion. We'll pin all the blame on him. He must state that he has always trusted Liu Ruyan and still loves her deeply. Qin Hai continued. The first 2 tasks are easy, but as for Chen Mo, he might not be willing to cooperate. Liu Huiqin thought for a moment, then immediately instructed Qin Hai, I am now appointing you as the vice president of the Liu Corporation. You are fully in charge of handling this matter. As for Chen Mo, Ruyan and I will figure something out. Go and steer the public opinion overnight. Qin Hai had been waiting for exactly this. He readily agreed, grabbed the tablet and walked out. Once Qin Hai left, Liu Huiqin sternly asked Liu Ruyan, tell me the truth right now. Did you and Yi Fan sleep together or not? Honestly, even now, Liu Huiqin still couldn't believe that Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan were just siblings. This younger brother that Liu Ruyan took in looked much more like a lover. Liu Ruyan never expected that even the grandmother who loved her most wouldn't believe her now. Grandma, you have to believe me. Nothing has happened between Yi Fan and me. I really just see him as a younger brother. If you don't believe me, I swear on my mother's grave. At the mention of Liu Ruyan's late mother, Liu Huiqin's expression shifted slightly. Her eyes looked a bit unnatural. Fine, but just to be safe, you should still go get checked. Take that medical certificate to Chen Mo and explain everything. What certificate? Liu Ruyan still didn't understand what her grandmother meant. It wasn't until Liu Huiqin stared pointedly at her lower stomach that she finally realized. Her grandmother wanted her to get a virginity test. An hour later, Liu Ruyan, blushing with humiliation, took the medical report and headed to the Chen family's old estate. Along the way, she had called him countless times, but he never picked up. Liu Ruyan didn't know if he was angry or just asleep. Just as Liu Ruyan was on her way to the Chen estate, he finally woke up. Earlier, he had coughed up blood from sheer heartbreak and passed out on the floor. That mouthful of blood served as a memorial to the past. Farewell, Liu Ruyan. I have personally dug you out of my heart. After coughing up blood, he felt his entire body lighten up. His love for Liu Ruyan vanished along with that mouthful of blood. The image of the girl who once ruled his heart was now completely gone. He looked at the brand new bridal room and muttered, it's time to say goodbye to the past. He took a bottle of red wine from the cabinet, drank straight from the bottle, taking a huge gulp. Then, he violently hurled the bottle at their wedding portrait. The bottle shattered into pieces, and the wedding photo was completely ruined. After that, he opened another bottle of wine, took a few sips, and walked into the bedroom. He took down Liu Ruyan's wedding dress, poured wine all over it, and pulled out a lighter to set it ablaze. The wedding dress, exquisitely crafted over half a year and adorned with countless precious jewels, was set on fire just like that. Thinking back to the past, to give Liu Ruyan a grand wedding, even the wedding dress. He had personally gone to Europe to find a royal master tailor to custom make it, but now this wedding dress was no longer needed. He also picked up a framed photo of the two of them and threw it into the fire to burn. The glaring flames quickly caught the attention of the Chen family bodyguards outside the door. He didn't dare enter the house, only standing at the door and asking loudly, young master, are you all right? Do you need us to come in? Pack up all my belongings, then smash this place to pieces. He despised this bridal room. In his previous life, it was right here that he suffered a devastating blow from Liu Ruyan, turning him into a vegetative state. And it was also right here that ultimately became the love nest for Yi Fan and Liu Ruyan's affair. I didn't care about them anymore. I just grabbed a bottle of wine and drank as I walked. Before long, I had left that place far behind. I kept drinking, having no idea where I was headed. Even though I owned properties all over Hangzhou, none of them felt like home. The bridal suite was where Liu Ruyan cheated. the old Chen family house, was where Shen Yuchu was taken from. The moment I step back into those places, those memories come rushing back, torturing me with a pain worse than death. I wandered the main streets alone, like a lingering ghost, lonely and isolated. In that silence, I felt like a stray dog with no home, just drifting along the road. By the time dawn approached, my legs were heavy with exhaustion. As luck would have it, there was a 5-star hotel right by the road. I stumbled toward the entrance and booked myself a presidential suite. After taking the key card, I stepped into the elevator alone. The suite was on the top floor, the 66th, but the elevator stopped somewhere in the 50s. Suddenly, a girl with disheveled clothes staggered into the elevator. She rushed in and frantically closed the doors, as if something terrifying was chasing her. I narrowed my eyes, sizing her up. She looked young, like a recent college graduate. She was tall, wearing a tight, cream-colored long dress that showcased her perfect curves. The woman before me was a rare beauty, a true masterpiece. Even compared to Liu Ruoyan, she was easily her equal. I only glanced at her for a second before looking away. I had drunk far too much by then, and I was feeling miserable. I desperately needed to lie down and rest, but the girl who just entered seemed even more wasted than I was. Her whole body swayed on the verge of collapsing. Her pale, slender arms couldn't even grip the handrail, and she fell right toward me. Instinctively, I reached out to catch her. The moment we touched, it felt like I was holding a piece of fine Heetian jade. Her skin was so smooth, soft and radiant. My heart skipped a beat, leaning into my chest. She whispered under her breath, "Save me. Please, I beg you. Save me." I quickly realized something was wrong. Her body temperature was unnaturally high. Abnormal red patches were blooming across her snow-white skin. Before I could even react, the woman in my arms looked up and pressed her lips against mine. She wrapped her arms around my neck, pulling me down firmly, trying to take control. As soon as we reached the floor, I hurried out of the elevator, carrying her straight toward the room. The moment we stepped inside, the woman became even more desperate. She frantically began tearing at both of our clothes. Miss, wait. Don't say anything." Her passionate kiss cut my words short, staring at the stunning beauty right in front of me, and with the alcohol clouding my judgment. How could I possibly resist such temptation? I closed my eyes and surrendered to the sensation. The two of us were lost in passion in that hotel room. Meanwhile, at the Chen family mansion, Liu Ruoyan was facing a cold rejection. But after her desperate pleading, Butler Lai finally relented and revealed that I had gone back to the bridal suite. Once Liu Ruoyan heard the news, she immediately raced toward the bridal suite. Chen Mo must still have feelings for me. He's waiting for me at our new home. Liu Ruoyan felt a surge of excitement, and her mood lightened considerably. But when she arrived, there was no sign of me anywhere. The entire suite was filled with guards. They were swinging baseball bats, smashing every piece of furniture and decoration to bits. Liu Ruoyan nearly coughed up blood from pure rage. "Stop this right now. What the hell do you think you're doing? Who gave you permission to destroy this place? Get out. All of you, get out now." The guards obviously knew who Liu Ruoyan was. She had almost become the mistress of this house. One guard replied the young master ordered us to tear it down. They didn't know whose orders to follow. What if she and I got back together later? Would they be purged for this? Don't make me say it twice. Get out. Seeing her fury, the guards dropped their bats and fled. After they left, she collapsed onto the floor. This time, the reality finally sank in. Are you really doing this? This wasn't just a childish tantrum. He truly wanted to break up with her. Chen Mo, why? Why won't you even give me a chance to explain? Liu Ruoyan sat on the carpet in agony. Soon, she noticed bloodstains on the floor. Bright red blood was splattered across the pristine white rug, looking incredibly jarring. He coughed up blood. Chen Mo actually coughed up blood. What on earth have I done to make him this angry? Liu Ruoyan sat there in a daze, sobbing in absolute misery. At this moment, she looked like a withered leaf swept away by a cruel autumn wind, tragic and helpless. Her eyes were filled with nothing but despair and pain. Meanwhile, on the luxurious bed in the presidential suite, I was still entangled with that mysterious woman. Neither of us wanted to let go. An hour later, the effects of the drug had completely worn off. I lay exhausted on the bed, and she had finally found her release. Under the morning sun, she was the first to wake up. She looked like a blooming white lotus, pure and radiant. She appeared even more saintly and noble now. The faint flush on her skin, like the shy blush of a young girl, only added to her charm. It was the proof that she had transformed from a girl into a woman. Lu Mengyao stared blankly at her surroundings, suddenly frozen in shock. She realized she was in a strange bed, and even worse, there was an unfamiliar man lying next to her. Her instinct was to scream, but she immediately covered her mouth with her hands. She was terrified of waking him up, fearing she might be defiled all over again. As it turned out, Liu Mengyao was a graduating student from the Madu Academy of Drama. Before graduating, she had signed a debut contract with Hongyi Film Company. Yesterday, she accepted an invitation from her senior Zhang Jie to come to Hangzhou for a performance. After the show ended, Zhang Jie took her out to meet some investors. Before they arrived, Zhang Jie had hinted to her that she needed to be open-minded tonight and know how to make the right sacrifices. She never imagined that being open-minded meant selling her body, using herself to please some wealthy benefactor. Naturally, she refused. She intended to leave right then and there, but Zhang Jie wouldn't let her. Finally, Zhang Jie made a compromise, telling her she could leave after just one drink. She thought that one glass would be the end of it. She didn't know it was only the beginning of a nightmare. The drink was spiked. She quickly fell into a daze and was shoved into a hotel room to wait for the investor to claim her. Fortunately, her willpower was strong. When the investor walked in, she spat right in his face while he was in the shower. She found a chance to bolt out of the room. But in the end, the situation turned out to be a stroke of luck for Liu Mengyao. Looking at the man sleeping soundly on the bed, the memories of last night slowly returned. Liu Mengyao finally remembered that she was the one who had pinned him down. Recalling that wild, absurd night, her face turned bright red. What am I supposed to do now? While she was panicking, she took another look at him. She realized the man who took her virginity was actually quite handsome. Liu Mengyao fixed her gaze on his face. She whispered softly, "I guess I'm lucky it was you. Consider yourself lucky too. If it had been that old man, I would rather have died." Liu Mengyao stepped off the bed barefoot. Her skin was pale and flawless, like a goddess from Greek mythology. She moved with light, quiet steps, carefully picking up her torn clothes from the floor. She threw them on quickly, but they couldn't hide her youthful beauty. She had no other choice. She had to borrow his coat for the time being. She muttered to herself, "I slept with him, and now I'm stealing his clothes too. Isn't that a bit unethical?" Liu Mengyao hesitated for a moment, then took off the necklace from her neck and placed it on the nightstand. She even left a note. Finally, she gave a bitter smile and said, "Does this make me a one-night stand girl?" She covered her face, unable to stop her self-deprecating laughter. She wrapped his coat tightly around herself and walked toward the door. But as she reached it, she paused. She turned back with a gentle gaze, staring at the man who was still dead to the world. It was as if she wanted to carve his image into her heart. A moment later, she opened the door and left without hesitation. I slept through it all, not waking up until noon. When I finally opened my eyes, Liu Mengyao was long gone. I realized then that she had left early. I looked toward the nightstand and saw the necklace lying there, along with a small note. It read, "A fleeting morning romance. Don't remember me, don't look for me." Taking the coat, leaving the necklace behind, it was meant as compensation. I held the necklace in my palm, bringing it to my nose to catch a faint scent, the unique fragrance that belonged only to her. Finally, I saw the red bloodstains on the sheets from last night, and my eyes darkened with an unreadable depth. "You think you can just run away after sleeping with me? Not a chance." I grabbed my phone and called my bodyguard, Liu Liang, the woman who entered my room last night. I want everything on her within the hour. Also, bring me a change of clothes. Without waiting for Liu Liang to respond, I hung up. Then I headed into the shower. On the other end of the line, Liu Liang was scared out of his wits. "What? Someone broke into the young master's room last night? Quick. Check the security footage. Find out exactly who entered his room." Just as I finished washing up, the bodyguard appeared at the door with fresh clothes and a file. He stood there, waiting. "What did you find?" I didn't even look at the file, asking him while I got dressed. Liu Liang replied, "Young master, we've identified her. The woman in your room last night is named Liu Mengyao. She's currently a university student at the prestigious Madu Academy of Drama. She was invited to Hangzhou yesterday for a performance. After the show, she attended a banquet and was drugged. Where is she now?" "She took an early high-speed train back. She should be in Madu by now." I asked, "Who was the one who invited her?" "We found out his name is Zhang Jie. He's also a graduate of the Drama Academy. Liu Mengyao's senior. So he was the one who drugged her," Liu Liang said firmly. "Most likely, yes. Even if he didn't do it himself, he's definitely an accomplice. He was acting as the middleman." I let out a cold snort, my face darkening with murderous intent. "Middleman? You mean a pimp? Whose bed was he trying to put her in?" Liu Liang hesitated, stuttering, "It's someone you know?" "The connection goes quite deep. I was just putting on my coat." When I heard Liu Liang say it was someone I knew, I was genuinely surprised. "What, I know him?" "Spit it out. Who is this piece of trash that I supposedly know?" Liu Liang gave me a cautious look. He stammered, "It's Third Master Qin." "Who the hell is Third Master Qin?" The name didn't ring a bell at first. Then, a memory surfaced. "Wait, is it Qin Ba? Qin Hai's younger brother?" Liu Liang nodded. "Yes, that's him." At the mention of that name, I gritted my teeth in pure hatred. Qin Ba was a greedy, lustful man who constantly used the Chen family's name to bully others and throw his weight around. He started as a lowly security guard at a company under the Liu family. Then Qin Hai came to me, begging for a job for his brother. To please Qin Hai, my future father-in-law at the time, I placed Qin Ba directly into the corporate headquarters. I gave him a lucrative position as the logistics manager. As a result, once Qinba gained power, he shamelessly brought the entire Qin clan into the headquarters. The Qins became a law unto themselves in the company, skimming off the top, taking bribes and biting the hand that fed them. They turned the company into a complete mess. Unbelievable, right? Qinba, a man who was just a pathetic guard, was now acting like a billionaire tycoon. Yuchu had tried to report him to me before, but I didn't want to make things difficult for Uncle Qinhai. I also wanted to save face for Liu Ruyan, so Yuchu had to swallow her anger every single day. I never imagined that later on. Qinba would even dare to target Yuchu, openly harassing her with disgusting comments. He probably thought he could get away with just talk. I didn't deal with him in my past life, so in this life, he'll be the first one I cut down. I told Liu Liang to drive me to the office. The Weibo building is the most famous skyscraper in Hangzhou. The entire building belongs to the Chen family. The headquarters of the Chen group is located right here. I didn't let the bodyguards follow me in. I got out of the car a short distance away and walked into the building alone. But very quickly, a man with a thuggish face and a menacing expression blocked my way in the lobby. His tone was incredibly rude, as if I owed him $5 million. Where do you think you're going without checking in? You think you can just barge in here? Do you even know where you are? This guard's uniform was a mess, and he wasn't even wearing his hat. The security and reception are the face of the entire building. If this kind of trash was representing my building, then we might as well shut down now. I'm here for the Chen Group headquarters. You think you can just walk in? Do you have an appointment? I let out a cold laugh. I never thought I'd need an appointment to enter my own home, even though I hadn't been to the office in a while. Recognizing the owner is the most basic requirement for staff. Clearly, this guard couldn't even manage that. This entire building is mine. I'll go wherever I want. You have no right to stop me. The guard burst out laughing at my words. Oh, really now? Listen here, kid. You trying to be funny? You actually think you're Chen Mo. If you're Chen Mo, then I'm Chen Hongwen, his old man. Why don't you get on your knees and call me daddy? Well, what are you waiting for? Call me father. My eyes flared with murderous intent. Insult me all you want, but anyone who dares to disrespect my father is as good as dead. Just as I was about to call my bodyguards in, another security guard came rushing over. He took one look at me and immediately snapped into a respectful salute. He said deferentially, "Young master, forgive us, young master. We didn't know you were visiting, so we didn't have time to arrange a proper welcome." This new guard was in his 40s, with a dignified look and professional manners. His uniform was impeccable compared to the thug from before. It was like night and day. "Old man, get out of the way." "What the hell are you talking about?" "That's the young master you're talking to." "Are you kidding me? The eldest son of the Chen family doesn't go anywhere without 7 or 8 bodyguards. How could this kid be the young master?" The first guard sneered, his face full of contempt. I didn't even acknowledge him. I looked at the older guard and asked coldly, "How did you recognize me?" He replied, "You visited the company last year. I was fortunate enough to see you then." The thuggish guard, hearing how sincere the other man sounded, realized this wasn't a joke. His brain finally started working. What? No way. He's really Chen Mo. He studied me closely once more. This time, he finally felt the natural aura of authority radiating from me. A noble and calm aura exuded from him. However, even knowing the person standing in front of him was Chen Mo, this security guard didn't show an ounce of fear. Instead, he stepped forward with a sleazy look on his face and chuckled. "Brother-in-law, I finally get to meet the man himself. I'm Zhao Kai, Liu Ruyan's older cousin, vice captain of the security team. We're all family here, after all." Zhao Kai leaned in close to his ear and whispered. After speaking, he stuck out his fat, greasy belly and gave him a half-assed, sloppy salute. Zhao Kai was the son of Qin Hai's younger sister. He was expelled before finishing middle school for fighting and causing trouble. He had been messing around in society for years without achieving a damn thing. Who knows when he was shoved into the company? The stench of sweat on Zhao Kai's body was overwhelming, as if he hadn't showered in half a month, combined with the smell of cheap cigarettes and bad breath. It almost made Chen Mo throw up in disgust. He couldn't stand it for another second, and quickly shoved the guy away, stepping aside to breathe in some fresh air. Then, he turned to old Ma. "You can go. Gather the entire security team here for me." Although he didn't know what the young master was planning, as a dedicated employee, his first priority was to fulfill the boss's request. At that moment, Zhao Kai suddenly felt a twinge of guilt. 2 minutes later, a group of security guards jogged into the lobby in unison. These dozen or so men, led by old Ma, lined up in 2 neat rows in front of him. He looked at them with an expressionless face and asked, "Is everyone here?" His sudden question left old Ma at a loss for words. He cautiously stole a glance at Zhao Kai. Chen Mo hadn't expected that Zhao Kai's authority in the security team would be this great. Old Ma didn't even dare to speak the truth in front of him. He was the head of the Chen family, yet right here in his own company, his authority couldn't even compare to a worthless punk. His expression instantly darkened as he shouted, "I'm asking you, what are you looking at him for? What? Did his family open this company? Who exactly pays your salary? In truth, all of this was his own fault. Who told him to spoil Liu Rian's family so much in the past? Old Ma was scared out of his wits. He immediately straightened up and replied, I am truly sorry, young master. I will always be a man of the Chen family. You can trust my loyalty. He pointed at old Ma, ordering him to step forward. Tell me, what exactly is the current situation with the security team? I want to hear the truth. Just answer honestly. You don't need to fear their retaliation. Today, I will absolutely clean out these parasites. Hearing his declaration, Old Ma's eyes suddenly lit up, flashing with a glimmer of hope. Young master in the current security team. Aside from my squad, which is made up of recruited ex-military men, the other two squads are all relatives of the Qin family. Most of them are just deadbeats like Zhao Kai. They do absolutely nothing but slack off at the company, completely refuse to follow management, and never participate in any security duties. Most of the time, they just gather in the guard room to play cards. Hearing this, the anger in his eyes threatened to erupt like a volcano. This is outrageous. Am I paying them a salary just to come here and play around? To tell you the truth, I was originally the head captain of the security team, but after the Qin family members arrived, they directly pushed me down and made Zhao Kai's father the head captain. But after taking the position, he almost never shows up at the company. Your expression grew even gloomier. This was the headquarters of the Chen family, yet the security force had turned into this mess. How can the safety of the employees and the company's confidential documents inside be guaranteed? Finally, you gently patted Old Ma's shoulder. You've worked hard. This is all my fault. It was my blind indulgence. That led to this situation today. I almost ruined the legacy that generations of the Chen family worked so hard to build. Hearing you say this, Old Ma was so moved he almost shed tears. He had worked for the Chen family for over 20 years and had deep affection for them. Otherwise, with his experience and abilities, he would have left for another company long ago. He wouldn't have stayed here to suffer such grievances. Young master, it's good that you finally realized this. It's not too late at all. There's still time. You understood what he meant. At that moment, Shen Yuchu, along with a few assistants and secretaries, appeared behind you. She asked Chen Mo, why did you come to the company? And you didn't even go upstairs. She was as radiant as a bright star, elegant and composed. As she slowly walked up beside you, her eyes revealed a sense of intimacy and care. Today, Shen Yuchu was wearing a professional outfit, draped in a designer black blazer, which accentuated her tall, graceful figure. Seeing Shen Yuchu again, your nose tingled, your eyes instantly turned red. What's wrong? Did someone wrong you? Did these security guards bully you? Shen Yuchu thought these security guards had disrespected you, making you lose face. She knew exactly how shameless these guards were. If you hadn't forbidden it before, she would have dealt with these people long ago. No, it's not that. In Shen Yoka's eyes, you had always been like a child, one who refused to grow up. Sister, I was wrong. I didn't know what was good for me and caused you so much trouble. Shen Yuchu glanced at Old Ma. Old Ma immediately gave her a confirming look. Shen Yuchu instantly understood. Chen Mo, you are my closest family. No matter what choice you make, I will always support you. You were deeply moved by Shen Yuchu's words, tears welling up in your eyes. Shen Yuchu's words weren't just empty talk. In your previous life, you only had to make one phone call, and Shen Yuchu handed over all her power in the company, without a single ounce of resistance. That was her unconditional support for your choices. In the end, when you were beaten into a vegetative state, it was also Shen Yuchu who took care of you with all her heart. You silently swore in your heart, sister, I let you down in my past life and failed to protect you. In this life, I will absolutely not let these parasites off the hook. Call the legal department over here. Then call the police. Arrest all of these people. Make them spit out every single penny they swallowed. You flew into a rage in the chairman's office. You looked at the documents Shen Yuchu provided, slamming the desk in anger. It turned out Shen Yuchu hadn't just been sitting idle, although she couldn't manage them directly. Every single illegal and rule-breaking act committed by these people had been recorded by people she arranged, just waiting for the day you came to your senses. In my previous life, I never saw these whistleblowing documents. In this life, they were finally delivered right into my hands. After reading through this pile of documents, I finally realized just how outrageous the Qin family members were. And Qinba, Liu Rian's third uncle, was even more despicable. He was the head of logistics for the entire company. Every purchase the company made had to pass through his hands. Suppliers not only had to give him gifts, but also had to pay him kickbacks. Sister, what kind of person is this? How could I have done something so stupid? Hit me. Take your anger out on me. When I read the later sections, I just wanted to slap myself in the face. Qinba frequently harassed female employees in the company, touching them inappropriately, and constantly sexually harassing them. After Shen Yuchu found out, she personally went to talk to Qinba. As a result, Qinba wasn't afraid of her at all. He never respected Shen Yuchu as an adopted daughter in the first place. He even had the audacity to lust after her. At the time, Qinba boldly declared, that as long as Shen Yuchu agreed, he would immediately go home and get a divorce, and then marry her. It was shameless beyond belief. Shen Yuchu was trembling with anger at the time. She had told me about this before, but back then, I only had eyes for Liu Ruyan, so I didn't pay it any mind at all. When Qinba found out, he pushed things even further. He frequently harassed Shen Yuchu. If it weren't for the fact that Shen Yuchu still had a few Chen family veterans protecting her, who knows, that bastard Qinba might have actually succeeded. It's all right, sister. Isn't everything fine now? It's all in the past. The fact that you've woken up now is the best thing of all. I'm not angry anymore. Shen Yuchu rubbed my head, completely avoiding any mention of those unpleasant past experiences. She treated those matters like the wind passing by her ears. So are you really planning to hand these people over to the police? Of course. Not only will I make them spit out all the money, I'm also going to throw them in jail. It's best if they spend the rest of their lives rotting behind bars. Why would you let a guy like that go? Especially that Qinba. You have to make him regret ever being born into this world. Good, as long as you have that attitude, it's fine. I'll handle everything else from here. After Shen Yuchu finished speaking, she took the evidence and went to the police. Not long after Shen Yuchu left, the general manager of the company's legal department, Wang Jing, a stern and somewhat old-fashioned woman, knocked on the door of the chairman's office. "Chairman, I am Wang Jing, general manager of the legal department. You called for me." Wang Jing's voice was as cold as a lifeless machine. She even seemed somewhat distant and disgusted with me. I didn't even know how I had offended her. I didn't know this woman named Wang Jing very well. Wang Jing wore thick glasses, her neat short hair falling to her shoulders. Her facial features were delicate, though her face looked a bit gaunt. While she couldn't compare to Shen Yuchu overall, she was still an outstanding beauty. "Manager Wang, I need you to draft a share transfer agreement." Wang Jing was a bit surprised. Didn't Shen Yuchu say this idiot had come to his senses? Why did he want to transfer shares? Could it be that because he wanted to round up the Qin family relatives? He was afraid Liu Ruyan would be angry, so he wanted to use the previous betrothal gifts and add some shares for her. Truly, just for a beauty's smile, he wouldn't hesitate to throw away a fortune. Wang Jing thought he was planning to transfer shares to Liu Ruyan. Then she asked him, the chairman, how many shares he planned to transfer to Liu Ruyan. She and Shen Yuchu were best friends. She was always advising her to quit and leave the Chen family. She knew that to maintain the Chen family's business. Shen Yuchu had endured so much hardship, yet he took the money she worked so hard to earn and gave it away to the Liu family without a second thought. It made Wang Jing so angry. She felt like she was going to have a heart attack. She asked in surprise, "What shares are you transferring to Liu Ruyan? What is this all about? Aren't you planning to transfer shares to Liu Ruyan?" "Of course not. I've already broken off the engagement with her. Why would I give her shares? Do you think I'm an idiot? Giving away hundreds of billions as a gift. I'm not even the one sleeping with her." Hearing him say this, Wang Jing was finally relieved. He suddenly slapped his thigh with a loud smack. To think that after being reborn, he had actually forgotten about the betrothal gifts. Right, thanks for reminding me. I'm not giving the shares and real estate to the Liu family, but the betrothal money and some precious antiques were already sent over there. "Manager Wang, go back and send a notice to the Liu family later. Tell them they must return the money and items to me." Wang Jing looked at him as if she didn't know him. Was this the lovesick fool she had heard about? "Then, if you're not giving the shares to Liu Ruyan, who are you planning to transfer them to? Got your eye on another girl." Wang Jing couldn't help but sigh. Had he really come to his senses? Not giving the family fortune away here, but giving it away somewhere else. These shares were a hot potato. He just had to get rid of them. "If you can't find anyone, just give them to me." He smiled faintly. He leaned close to Wang Jing's ear and whispered 3 words. Wang Jing was so shocked she looked like she'd lost her soul. She was both surprised and overjoyed, but this time she replied very briskly, "No problem, I'll go draft it right now. It'll be done in a flash." Wang Jing hurriedly stood up and returned to the legal department. She didn't look calm and collected at all anymore. "What's the rush?" "Afraid I'll change my mind." Wang Jing paused for a moment. She really was afraid he would regret it, so she wanted to get the transfer papers signed as quickly as possible. "Do you know how many shares I'm about to transfer?" "Yeah, so how much are you planning to transfer?" 25%, so what? Wait, 25% of the shares. Wang Jing was stunned. This amount of shares was equivalent to the entire fortune of the Liu family. When he was giving them to Liu Ruyan before, it was only 8%. Wang Jing originally thought he was just all talk. It wasn't until he gave her a resolute look that she realized he was playing for real this time. He turned around, his face full of determination. His footsteps were light, leisurely, and unhurried. Ever since taking over the position of chairman, the chairman's office had been left empty for years. Aside from the first few months when he first arrived to sign a few documents, he rarely ever visited. He carefully observed the room. The layout was exactly the same as it was 6 years ago. Not a single thing had changed. The Yibo building was the tallest skyscraper in Hangzhou. He stood at the very top, looking down at all of Hangzhou. The people in cars below looked like ants. At this moment, he finally understood why so many people chased after fame and fortune. The feeling of standing at the very peak, looking down at the world, truly made one's blood pump. Every time I came here, I could still picture how my father used to work here. He would get frustrated when running into problems, and he would rejoice when a project succeeded. After my parents passed away, I poured all my heart and soul just into pleasing Liu Ruyan. It was as if I was using this method to ease the pain in my heart. The chairman's office, which was closed all year round, was incredibly lively today. Very soon, the receptionist called. Qin Hai was at the door asking for a meeting. Qin Hai truly had some skills. In just one night, he had diverted the public's attention to a massive scandal in the entertainment industry, directly burying the story of Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan. Aside from a small number of netizens who were still discussing it, no one cared anymore. Because of this, although the Liu family's stock plummeted this morning, it wasn't as terrifying as imagined. But this matter still needed to be dealt with cleanly. The internet has its own memory. Who knows, maybe one day it would be dug up again. Once things blew out of proportion, there wouldn't be many stars willing to take the fall for them. Therefore, the Liu family arranged for Qin Hai to come here and negotiate with me. They wanted me to issue a public statement, saying that I had misunderstood Liu Ruyan, and that the two of us had reconciled. Originally, Liu Ruyan was supposed to come apologize in person, but ever since she left last night, her family hadn't been able to contact her. Left with no choice, they could only have Qin Hai step up. After all, I used to give Qin Hai a lot of face in the past. I even arranged for so many useless members of the Qin family to join the company. As soon as Qin Hai arrived at the bottom of the Yibo building, he saw his siblings, his nieces and nephews, and a few close friends, all being escorted into police cars. The police had mobilized several large transport vehicles, just to arrest these dozens of people. Qin Hai froze. What was going on? He hurriedly ran forward with a few bodyguards, blocking their path. Sister, Qin Ba, what's going on? Why are you guys being arrested? Qin Ba looked miserable. Seeing Qin Hai was like seeing his savior. Brother, save me. Go talk to Chen Mo. Tell him to go easy on us. Let me go. Zhao Kai and the others also started clamoring. Uncle, hurry and save us. Chen Mo has gone crazy. He's turned his back on us. He had that adopted daughter call the cops and arrest all of us. Hurry up and tell him to let us go. Otherwise, tell Ruyan not to marry him. Only then did Qin Hai understand the reason. It seemed Chen Mo was still angry. This was him taking it out on Qin Hai's relatives. He immediately said to the police officers, "Wait a moment. I'm going to find Chen Mo right now. I'll be right back. Everyone will be fine." But the police weren't about to listen to him at a time like this. They forcefully shoved them in, locking everyone inside the vehicles. The sirens wailed. The police cars drove off with their sirens blaring right in front of Qin Hai. Qin Hai was so furious he almost cursed out loud. But he didn't have time to worry about his family's safety. He led his men and stormed straight into the building without hesitation. But old Ma immediately blocked him. It wasn't until he gave permission that Qin Hai was allowed to go upstairs alone. After Qin Hai met with him, he still maintained his condescending attitude, putting on the airs of a father-in-law. "Chen Mo, you're in the wrong here. Those are your relatives, your elders. No matter what they did wrong, you should have just told me. I would have handled it, and that would be the end of it. Why did you have to bother the police? Did Shen Yushu put you up to this? Let me tell you, once you marry Ruyan, those relatives will be your family too. Your future children will share their bloodline. But that adopted daughter is different. She's an outsider, after all. She doesn't share our ancestry or our clan. Even her surname is different. How can you show favoritism toward her? If Ruyan finds out about this, she's going to be angry. Call the police right now and tell them to let them go. When the time comes, I'll host a banquet. You can come over, offer a toast to apologize, and we'll consider this matter settled." He coldly watched him put on his little act. He wanted to see just how this Qin Hai could twist the truth and turn black into white. Qin Hai rambled on for ages, until he finally noticed something was off. Why was he the only one talking? He hadn't said a single word in response. "Chen Mo, why aren't you saying anything? It's just a trivial matter. There's no need to make a big fuss out of it, right?" He was furious at how well Qin Hai could twist the truth. It was the same in his previous life. He always used Liu Ruyan to pressure him. Afraid of making Liu Ruyan angry, no matter what Qin Hai demanded, he would agree to it all, which was why the company ended up in such a state. Your relatives colluded with each other and embezzled hundreds of millions in company funds, and you call that a trivial matter? Gathering in the company for lewd acts is also a trivial matter. Publicly harassing my employees, getting handsy with them. The security cameras caught it all, and you still call that a trivial matter? Finally, he slammed his hand on the table with a loud bang and stood up abruptly, glaring fiercely at Qin Hai. Actually, this wasn't even the real reason he was so angry. The core reason was that Qin Bo dared to target Shen Yushu. In this life, Shen Yushu was his very life. She was his reverse scale. Chin Hai was startled by his sudden outburst of rage, at a loss for how to respond. Up until now, he had always been obedient and compliant in front of him, filial and sensible. He had never dared to turn against him like this. Is that so? I had no idea about any of this. You should have told me sooner. If I had warned them beforehand, they probably wouldn't have dared to do such things. How could Chin Hai not know? The embezzled money. The majority of it had already been pocketed by him as bribes. He was the one who profited the most, and he didn't even have to show his face. Hearing this, and seeing Chin Hai still trying to shift the blame onto him, Mr. Chin, by saying that, are you blaming me? Is it my fault for not making the company rules clear to them beforehand? Are they 3-year-old toddlers who still don't know what they should and shouldn't do? No, of course not. How could I possibly blame you? They are definitely in the wrong here. Look, could you just do me a favor and give me some face? Let them go. I guarantee they will absolutely never do it again. He had no intention of dragging this out any further. He had already made up his mind about the Qin family, especially Qin Bo. Let him spend the rest of his life repenting in prison, he stated firmly. Mr. Qin, you don't need to waste your breath. I absolutely will not let these people off the hook. The reason I told you to come up here is because there's a matter your Liu family needs to resolve. If you don't handle it well, I'll sue your entire Liu family. Chin Hai wasn't stupid. He recognized from his tone that he was pushing them into a corner. In his heart, he practically wanted to curse Liu Ruyan. Everything was fine, yet she just had to go and keep a boy toy, ruining her own perfectly good marriage. And now even the Qin family was suffering because of her. Chen Mo, listen to me. Even though I don't have much status in the Liu family, I will definitely support your demands. I'll pass your message to the Liu family. The betrothal gifts I gave the Liu family before, along with all those jewels and calligraphy paintings. When is your Liu family going to return them? Chin Hai hadn't expected this at all. He thought it was about Liu Rian and Yi Fan, and that he was demanding an explanation from the Liu family. He was still harboring the delusion that, as long as the Liu family smoothed things over and his anger subsided, the engagement between him and Liu Rian could still continue. And wouldn't the Qin family be saved then? Chen Mo, listen to me. Yifan and Ruyan really don't have that kind of relationship. It's all just a misunderstanding. Yesterday, after we found Ruyan, we immediately scolded her. She also explained herself. She genuinely just sees Yifan as a younger brother. You know the Liu family situation. Ruyan only has a younger sister. There isn't a single male heir in the family. That's why she took Yifan in as an adopted brother. The two of you grew up together. Ruyan loves you so much. How could she possibly do anything to betray you? It would have been better if Qin Hai hadn't brought up Yifan and Liu Ruyan. The moment he mentioned those two, he was reminded of that night. Liu Ruyan and Yifan passionately embracing in his bridal chamber. After kissing him, in order to save Yifan, Liu Ruyan had ruthlessly dealt him a fatal blow. Thinking of all that, his already cold heart was ignited once again, burning to ashes in agonizing pain. Shut up. Do you think I'm blind? Who she really loves, I know better than anyone. Go ahead and ask around. See if anyone actually believes your bullshit. Chin Hai, I've realized you aren't completely useless. You've got quite the silver tongue. You could talk a dead man back to life. You do have some skills. Otherwise, this cushy freeloader life at the Liu family, you probably wouldn't have been able to secure it. Chin Hai had never been insulted like this before. It was no different from a direct slap to the face. He stood up furiously, pointing a finger at him, trembling with rage. He couldn't care less. Chin Hai no longer posed a threat to anyone. If you don't want me to have someone break your finger, you better pull your hand back right now. Chin Hai felt the killing intent radiating from him. He silently withdrew his hand, then sat back down in his chair. He listened coldly as Chin Hai said, I can understand how you feel. A man lives for his pride. Now that your pride has been trampled underfoot, it's only natural to be angry. If you want to cool off, I can call Liu Ruyan over right now and hand her over to you. You can punish her however you want. Our Liu family will absolutely not say a word in protest. He couldn't help but wonder to himself. How could Chin Hai understand this feeling so perfectly? Could it be that he spoke from personal experience? Did Liu Ruyan's mother perhaps give Chin Hai a green hat as well? He shook his head slightly. I think you didn't hear me clearly. Liu Ruyan and I canceled our engagement last night. Who she likes, or who she wants to be with, has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. But the things that belong to our Chen family, the Liu family must return intact, without a single piece missing. All right, I've said my piece. You can leave now. In all the years Chin Hai had known him, this was the first time they had a conversation, where he was led by the nose from start to finish. He hadn't held a single ounce of initiative, to the point where the main purpose of his visit hadn't even been brought up yet, and he was already being kicked out. Chin Hai still wanted to push his luck and discuss the press conference with him. But right at that moment, Wang Jing aggressively stormed in, holding a transfer agreement. She didn't even spare Chin Hai a glance, eagerly running up to him and saying, Chairman, Please confirm this one more time. This is the agreement to transfer 25% of the Chen Group's shares if there are no issues. Please sign it right away. Before he could even say a word, Qinhai, hearing this, could no longer sit still. He snatched the share transfer agreement right out of her hands and quickly skimmed through it. What? You're planning to transfer 25% of the shares to Shen Yushu for free? No, absolutely not. I do not agree to this. I firmly object. After saying that, Qinhai casually tore the agreement to shreds. He was stunned by the man's words and actions. Only then did Wang Jing realize there was someone else in the room. She suddenly felt a bit of regret, having been too hasty in blurting out a company secret, mainly because this matter was just too unbelievable. Wang Jing still felt like she was dreaming, for the sake of her best friend. She had drafted this share document in just over 10 minutes, intending to strike while the iron was hot and finalize everything. She had been too excited. And incredibly happy for Shen Yushu. She hadn't even had the chance to tell Shen Yushu about it yet. Wang Jing knew Qinhai, knew he was Liu Rian's father, and could guess his purpose for being here. Wang Jing already knew everything that happened last night. She had never liked Liu Rian to begin with, and after finding out she had cheated, she found her even more disgusting. So, toward Liu Rian's father, Wang Jing openly showed her contempt. Does this have anything to do with you? Is it your turn to speak? What exactly are you objecting to? Get out of here, right now. Wang Jing was absolutely furious. She had gone through so much trouble to print that out, and now she had to go print another copy. What if he changed his mind in the meantime? Chen Mo, 25% of the shares is no small amount. You need to think this through carefully. If Ruyan finds out about this, the two of you will have even less of a chance to get back together. Qinhai put on an expression as if he were worried for him, but in reality he was only worried about his own interests. He reached up and massaged his temples, suppressing the anger in his heart. He told Wang Jing to step outside first and print another copy of the share transfer agreement. Mr. Qin, there is absolutely no possibility left between Liu Rian and me. Why should I care what she thinks? Do you really expect me to cherish damaged goods? You actually thought she was fit to be the mistress of the Chen family. Chen Mo, if you disdain Liu Rian, I still have another daughter. What about Liu Ruxu, Ruyan's younger sister? She always liked you when you were kids. You remember her, right? Ruxu is much gentler than Ruyan and has a much better personality. Not to mention, both of them are as beautiful as flowers. She hasn't been in the country these past few years, so you haven't seen her. She's all grown up now, with a graceful figure and beauty that could topple cities. She's not inferior to her sister in the slightest. Furthermore, I know for a fact she hasn't been involved with any men these past few years. She's been studying abroad at an all-girls school in Europe. There isn't even a shadow of a man around her. She is absolutely pure. I'll marry her off to you. What do you say? Even he hadn't expected Qinhai to come up with such an idea. Speaking of Liu Ruxu, he was naturally acquainted with her. They used to play together a lot when they were kids. It was just that later on, he only had eyes for Liu Rian, which was why Liu Ruxu went abroad. In his previous life, around the time he and Liu Rian got married, Liu Ruxu had returned once. After the wedding was over, she flew right back to Europe. The last time he saw her, the last time he heard her voice, was when he had already become a vegetable. Even now, he still remembered it vividly. Liu Ruxu threw herself onto his body, crying her eyes out, heartbroken and devastated. Only then did he realize that Liu Ruxu had feelings for him too. She went abroad because she couldn't bear to watch him dote on Liu Rian, forced to witness their affection right in front of her all day long. After learning he was paralyzed, Liu Ruxu rushed back to the country and had a massive, explosive fight with Liu Rian, even coming to blows with her own sister. Ruxu wanted to take him abroad for treatment, but was stopped by Liu Rian. She even forbade Ruxu from ever seeing him again. In the end, it seemed Liu Ruxu was forced abroad once again by Liu Rian. From then on, there was no news of her. If he still had any lingering affection for the Liu family, it was solely because of Liu Ruxu. To think Qinhai would actually use his own biological daughter as a bargaining chip. What a despicable, treacherous man. This behavior was truly worse than a beast's. No wonder Liu Rian turned out the way she did. It was all because she had a father like him. Who do you think you are? What kind of object do you think your daughter is? Something you can just trade away whenever you please. Get out. Get the hell out of here right now. Despite being yelled at, Qinhai stubbornly clung to his idea. Chen Mo, just think it over carefully. This is a mutually beneficial partnership for both the Chen and Liu families. He picked up the desk phone and called his secretary, telling security to come up. Throw this guy out. Ultimately, Qinhai was dragged out by the security guards. Right after Qinhai left, Shen Yushu, having heard the news, rushed over. Why are you in such a rage? Don't be angry anymore. Getting mad is bad for your health. He couldn't help but let out a sigh. Sis, you don't understand. The way that Qinhai talks is enough to piss anyone off. It's completely absurd. Now I understand why Liu Rian can't tell right from wrong. It turns out a fish really does rot from the head down. Shen Yushu walked up behind him, placing her delicate hands on his shoulders and gently massaging them. He remembered how, back in the day, their mother used to do the same thing. Whenever their father got angry, their mother would walk up behind him and massage his shoulders under their mother's comforting touch. Their father's anger would quickly subside. He never expected that, as times changed, it would now be their turn. He said, "All right, as long as he's kicked out, it's fine. From now on, we won't have any dealings with the Liu family anyway. Out of sight, out of mind." "I get it. Thank you, sis." "Oh right, how are the company arrangements going? Have the people from the Qin family been dealt with?" "Everyone who needed to be dealt with has been handled. I've had the legal department keep a close eye on the case." When everyone in the company found out those parasites were arrested, they all wanted to light firecrackers to celebrate. Hearing this, he felt a mix of emotions. He grabbed his sister's hand. "It's all my fault for being so foolish, making everyone in the company suffer along with me, especially you. I almost got you bullied. It's okay, it's all in the past now. As long as you're all right, I'm willing to endure anything." He couldn't resist Shen Yushu's gentleness. In front of others, she was a majestic, sharp black rose. But in front of him, she would always be like a sweet, obedient little wife. "Sis, I'm planning to give a 25% raise to all the employees at headquarters, and then give them an extra month's salary as a bonus. Consider it compensation for them. What do you think?" Shen Yushu didn't even have to think about it. She simply nodded. "Of course, that sounds great. You stepped up to rid the company of those pests, and now you're giving them promotions and raises. It shows both grace and authority. Nothing could be better." Praised by Shen Yushu, he smiled in satisfaction. "Sis, there's one more thing. You absolutely have to agree to it. I'll support whatever you decide for your company. Don't you worry. You promised me, okay? You have to keep your word." Shen Yushu nodded. "Of course. Your sister Shen Yushu always keeps her word, especially when it's a promise to you." A smile played on your lips, like a plan coming together. "That's good then." A moment later, Wang Jing walked in, carrying the share transfer agreement. She didn't say much this time. She just smiled and winked at Shen Yushu. Her face practically screamed that something big was about to happen. "You took the agreement. After a quick glance, you signed it without a second thought. Once finished, you handed the pen to Shen Yushu. You covered the content at the top and told Shen Yushu to sign as well." Shen Yushu was a bit confused, but she trusted her brother and her best friend. They would never team up to hurt her. She decisively signed her name. Once the ink was dry and everything was settled, Wang Jing let out a long sigh of relief. She rushed excitedly over to Shen Yushu. "Congratulations, Yushu. You're officially the wealthiest woman in the province now." Wang Jing was as thrilled as if she'd just won 10 billion herself. She was absolutely over the moon. Shen Yushu was still in a daze. She hurriedly opened the document. The cover clearly stated it was a transfer of ownership agreement, and the number of shares was a staggering 25%, specifically 25% of the Chen Group, as the one actually running the Chen family's company. She knew exactly how much those shares were worth. This wasn't just about being the richest woman in the province. On a national level, she would easily rank among the elite. She'd likely be in the top 3. She stared at Chen Mo, completely stunned. "What are you doing? Why are you giving these shares to me?" He smiled and replied, "Sister, you already promised me that you'd support any decision I made, but giving these shares to me, it puts you at such a disadvantage. The Chen family holds 85% of the group's shares. 10% is on the stock market. The remaining 5% is held by other shareholders. If you give 25% to Shen Yushu, she immediately becomes the second largest shareholder in the group. From now on, who would dare look down on her? Who would dare say she's just the Chen family's foster daughter?" With 25% of the shares, Shen Yushu has become the most noble woman in all of Hangzhou. His expression shifted. He said, "Seriously, sister? Transferring these shares to you comes with a condition." Wang Jing was startled by his sudden change in tone. "What are you planning? Don't tell me you're actually going to marry your sister. Then the shares would just end up back in the Chen family's pocket anyway. Talk about moving money from your left hand to your right." Hearing Wang Jing's words, Shen Yushu thought that might be his plan too, but she didn't look upset at all. On the contrary, she looked like she was actually looking forward to it. He burst out laughing at Wang Jing's remark. He couldn't keep up the act anymore. "What on earth are you thinking? Do I look like that kind of person to you? Then, what is your condition? It's not one of those no official title arrangements, is it? You're being a real bad boy, aren't you?" He choked on his own breath at Wang Jing's teasing. Shen Yushu hurriedly got him some water. Wang Jing watched how worried Shen Yushu looked. This silly girl actually seems quite willing. Maybe she's felt this way for a long time? Maybe in the past. The Chen family really did raise her to be their daughter-in-law. Wang Jing's words hit Shen Yushu right in the heart. In truth, Shen Yushu really was raised as a child bride for the Chen family. His mother had even mentioned it to her before. It was only Chen Hongwen who didn't agree. He scolded his mother for having old-fashioned ideas, calling it a remnant of the feudal system. He never even considered how Shen Yushu felt about it. But Shen Yushu herself was actually very willing. It was just that back then, he was too young. He didn't know how to express himself. Later, Chen Hongwen and Liu Huiqin turned around and forced him into an engagement with Liu Rian. It had made his mother absolutely furious. The mention of being a child bride made him cough even more violently. Shen Yushu looked at him with heartache. She scolded Wang Jing. "What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Just stop it already." Wang Jing clutched her chest, pretending she couldn't take it anymore. "Oh, it's over. Our black rose has turned into a red rose. This scent of love is suffocating me. I need to get out of here right now." "I won't stay and interrupt you two," Wang Jing said as she started to head out. Seeing this, he immediately stopped coughing. He said, "Manager Wang, wait, I haven't finished talking about the important stuff yet. You need to stay." Shen Yushu and Wang Jing exchanged a look. They knew this was definitely no small matter. "You're saying that besides the 25% shares, I also have to appoint Shen Yushu as the CEO to manage every single thing in the company. From business development to personnel appointments. Everything is to be decided solely by Shen Yushu. She doesn't even need to consult or report to me anymore. You're planning to hand over all the executive power straight into Shen Yushu's hands, while you just sit back as chairman and enjoy the profits." Hearing this, Wang Jing gave him a look of pure admiration. This should have been done a long time ago. Yushu has been managing the company all this time, but she was only the vice president on paper. Her hands were tied in so many ways. So many opportunities appeared right in front of us. But because we had to wait for your approval, we ended up losing them. It was such a waste. This is a brilliant decision. Shen Yushu never expected that his visit today was to clear every single obstacle for her, giving her the shares and handing her total authority. She was so moved that tears welled up in her eyes. Wang Jing took the hint, guessing that Shen Yushu wanted some private time with him. She quickly found an excuse to slip away. "Well, you two keep on talking. I'm going to go draft the appointment notice right now. I'll issue the decision under the name of the group headquarters and send it down immediately, Mr. Chairman. You just be ready to sign it." Well then, it's true what they say. The person who understands a woman best isn't always her husband. It's usually her best friend. Just as long as there are no guy friends in the picture. After Wang Jing left, Shen Yushu threw herself into his arms. Tears began to stream down her face. He naturally wrapped his arms around her waist. They held each other tightly. At this moment, 1,000 words wouldn't know where to start. Silence was more meaningful than anything they could say. Paper is too short for a love so deep. He had so much he wanted to tell her, but he didn't know how to begin. As for Shen Yushu, her heart was overflowing with the joy of finding something she thought was lost. She silently thanked Liu Rian, thanked her for being so ungrateful, and for being so arrogant that she became blinded by her own pride. Shen Yushu asked softly, "Little brother, giving me all these shares, aren't you afraid I'll marry someone else later?" He gently stroked her hair, letting the dark strands linger between his fingers. Then he spoke with the utmost sincerity. "I'm not afraid. What I gave you is yours. If you want to marry someone else in the future, then just consider these shares as your dowry." Shen Yushu felt a pang of annoyance at that. She gave the soft skin on his waist a sharp pinch. She pouted and said, "Fine then. I'll go find another man to marry. Don't you dare regret it." He winced, his face contorting in pain. "Ow, ow. Stop, sister. I was wrong. No dowry. No dowry." Shen Yushu pinched him even harder. "What did you say?" "Say that again." No one would believe that the famous black plum blossom of Hangzhou, the woman rumored to be cold, heartless, and ruthless, could act like such a delicate, pouting girl. If word got out, people would think it was a lie. After being pinched several times, both sides of his waist were red and throbbing. Finally, he realized where he'd messed up. With a pained expression, he said, "Sister, you will always be a member of our Chen family, in this life and the next. We were born to rely on each other. You'll always take care of me and support me for the rest of my life." Hearing his promise that they would rely on each other, Shen Yushu collapsed into his arms and sobbed. She had waited for this moment for so long that she had almost given up hope. She choked out, "Okay, we will be together forever. I'll never leave you." His expression was incredibly solemn. "Sister, you have to keep your word. Don't lie to me. I can't handle another betrayal." Shen Yushu's body trembled slightly. She could feel the weight of his words. She knew how much his heart was aching. That pain seemed to pierce through both body and soul. She could feel it vividly. It cut deep, right to the core. Shen Yushu didn't know how to comfort Liu Ruyan. She didn't even know when she had fallen asleep. She had no idea how long she'd been crying last night. Just as she picked up her phone to call him, Yafan's call cut in. On the other end of the line, Yafan was wailing, "Sister Ruyan, please, come to the hospital quickly. Someone's trying to kill me." The line went dead right after that. "Yafan, what's going on? What on earth happened?" By the time Liu Ruyan realized he'd hung up, she had already grabbed her keys and was driving like a maniac. She was still wearing that white wedding dress. Once again, she'd pushed him to the back of her mind for Yifan. When Liu Ruyan rushed into the hospital, Yifan was perfectly fine, not a scratch on him. He was just kneeling on the floor, trembling as if he were about to collapse. Opposite him sat the matriarch of the Liu family, Liu Huiqin. Liu Ruyan hurried over to Liu Huiqin. Her heart was racing with anxiety. She said frantically, "Grandma, what are you doing? Why are you giving Yi Fan such a hard time? He was just in a car accident. He hasn't even recovered yet." Liu Huiqin looked at Liu Ruyan as if she were looking at an idiot. This granddaughter of hers. How could she be so blinded by her feelings? Looking at Yi Fan right now. Does he look like someone who was just in a car accident? The car that hit him must have been a toy at the park. Grandma pointed at Yi Fan and asked Liu Ruyan, "Take a good look at him. Does he have a single serious injury? It's just a few scratches. It's nothing. And for this, you dare to run away from your own wedding. You've turned the Liu and Chen families into bitter enemies. I honestly wish I could just beat both of you to death." Hearing her grandmother say that, Liu Ruyan couldn't believe her ears. She stepped forward to examine Yi Fan closely. Sure enough, there were only a few minor scratches on his face and hands. The bruises only looked bad because of the dark medicine smeared on them. Yesterday, she had been too worried about him to actually look closely. Today, the bruising had already faded. The injuries were clearly very minor. In fact, there was nothing significant at all. The worst of it was just some scraped skin. In an instant, Liu Ruyan remembered Chen Mo spitting blood in the bridal suite. That scene was filled with so much disappointment and sorrow. He must have been in utter agony to be pushed to the point of coughing up blood. And yet, here she was, rushing to save Yi Fan over a single phone call. She had intended to go find Chen Mo to apologize. What on earth was she doing? However, the way Yi Fan made her feel was still so special. Even if Yi Fan had lied to her this time and made her life a total mess, she still believed he must have had a reason. She wouldn't let her grandmother hurt him. Liu Ruyan stepped forward. She helped Yi Fan up, whose knees were numb from kneeling. She said to her grandmother, "Grandma, I'll handle the situation with the Chen family myself. I'll give you a proper answer. Yi Fan is mine. I won't allow anyone to hurt him." With that, she started to lead Yi Fan out. Just then, Qin Hai suddenly walked in. He had just returned to the hospital from the Chen group. He saw Liu Ruyan about to leave with Yi Fan. He looked at Liu Ruyan. A flash of disgust crossed his eyes, but it was quickly replaced by his usual honest, gentle facade. He said to Ruyan, "Chen Mo, he's truly furious this time. Are you really still going to stay this close to that guy? If you do, you won't have a single chance left." Liu Ruyan didn't even bother to answer Qin Hai. She treated him as if he didn't exist. She helped Yi Fan out of the hospital room. Qin Hai walked over to Liu Huiqin. With a face full of regret, he said, "Mother, I'm sorry. I couldn't fix things with Chen Mo. He really wants to call off the engagement this time. Chen Mo even demanded that we return the dowry." Then, he gave a summary of what had happened at the Chen group to Liu Huiqin, except he completely hid the part about the Qin family members. Liu Huiqin seemed to have expected this outcome. She wasn't surprised at all. "I know you did your best. You did a great job handling the internet situation. I don't blame you for what happened with the Chen family." Before Liu Ruyan had even arrived at the hospital, the Liu family had already issued a public statement, claiming that Yi Fan was the Liu family's foster son and that his relationship with Liu Ruyan was strictly that of siblings. They just happened to be very close. The Liu family then hired a lot of internet trolls. They were manipulating the narrative on social media. Aside from a few people who knew the truth and were still speaking out, most people had stopped paying attention to the scandal. Chen Mo, that boy has been sensible since he was a child. I really liked him. It's a shame. Just return the Chen family's dowry to them. The Liu family's reputation is already in the gutter. We can't afford to be labeled as greedy on top of that. Seeing Liu Huiqin's regret, Qin Hai spoke up, "Mother, Ruyan isn't our only daughter. Did you forget we still have Ruxu?" Liu Huiqin suddenly stared intently at Qin Hai. She only just realized the way Qin Hai was handling this problem. His mind was working incredibly fast. There was no trace of his usual stuttering or that simple, honest demeanor from before. Liu Huiqin felt like she was seeing the real Qin Hai for the first time. As for Liu Ruyan, after she helped Yi Fan out of the room, she immediately pushed him to the ground. "Tell me, why did you lie to me? Do you have any idea how much trouble I'm in? Just because I rushed to the hospital to save you, you've practically ruined my life." Liu Ruyan spoke as tears threatened to fall. In just one day, so many things had gone wrong, all because of Yi Fan's lies. She had to endure Chen Mo calling off the wedding. Years of affection had vanished like smoke. The Liu family's honor was tarnished. The company was facing a massive crisis, and worst of all, people online were calling her a tramp. A shameless woman. Every kind of insult was being hurled at her, and Yi Fan, the one who started it all, was the one she had been protecting so fiercely. "Sister Ruyan, Yi Fan acted as if he were the one being deeply wronged. He sobbed, unable to get the words out. Seeing him like that, Liu Ruyan felt a sudden pang of pity. Her tone softened. "What are you crying for? I'm the one who should be crying." Seeing that Liu Ruyan wasn't as angry anymore, Yi Fan put on a look of extreme grievance. "Sister Ruyan, I knew you were getting engaged last night, but Chen Mo doesn't like me. He wouldn't let me come, so I just went to a bar and got drunk by myself. On the way back, I got hit by an electric bike. A passerby called the ambulance for me, and it was the nurse who called you when I got to the hospital. I never wanted to ruin your engagement party. I was just so sad that I had a few too many drinks. When I woke up, I didn't even remember what happened. How can you say I lied to you? After hearing Yifan's explanation, Liu Ruyan thought back. It really wasn't Yifan who called her last night. It proved that Yifan hadn't lied to her. The nurse couldn't reach any of Yifan's relatives. In his contacts, only Liu Ruyan was listed as sister, so the nurse chose to call her and told her to come to the hospital to sign the papers. Yifan was an orphan. In Hangzhou, his only friend was Liu Ruyan. Thinking about all this, most of Liu Ruyan's resentment toward Yifan simply vanished. Alright, I don't blame you. I misunderstood you. Once this all blows over, I'll bring Chen Mo here to apologize to you. We'll take you out to dinner. Liu Ruyan actually imagined that scene happening. That's great. That's just great. There's no need for Chen Mo to do anything. As long as he apologizes to me, it'll be fine. I just want him to stop being angry with me. Yifan flashed a radiant smile. He seemed to look up to her with pure admiration. He was clearly looking forward to seeing him. Liu Ruyan tenderly stroked Yifan's face. That scratch. I'm truly touched that you're thinking of me like this. You should head home now. Take a couple of days off to rest. Wait until your wound is fully healed before coming back to the office. Sister, I'm really okay. It's just a minor injury. Where are you planning to go now? How about I come with you? As your little assistant, I really should stay by your side. I need to be on standby at all times. No need. I have to go home and change first. Then I'm going to find Chen Mo. I want to explain everything clearly to him. Once he calms down, we can finally put this whole thing behind us. In that case, I definitely have to go with you. I want to apologize to Chen Mo in person. I don't want there to be any more misunderstandings. I'll help you clear the air, so the two of you can get back to how things were. Liu Ruyan thought about it for a moment. It really was a good idea to bring Yifan along. Having Yifan explain things himself would be much more convincing than her doing all the talking. Liu Ruyan nodded in agreement. Fine then. Come back to my place with me, but you'll have to wait in the car for a bit. I need to go up and change into something else. However, Yifan didn't agree to that. He spoke up, sister. My clothes got torn yesterday. Didn't I leave a set of clothes at your place a while back? Can I go up and change too? If I go to see Chen Mo looking like this, it would be incredibly disrespectful. Liu Ruyan hesitated for a moment. She remembered that photo again. It was because Yifan had been in her room, that a massive controversy had erupted online. But Yifan had already anticipated this. He explained his reasoning. We're just like siblings. If we start avoiding each other just because people are suspicious, doesn't that just make us look guilty? It would look like we have something to hide. If we act natural and open about it, then people won't have any reason to doubt us. Liu Ruyan thought he had a point, but she still felt a lingering sense of worry. Yifan, however, didn't give her a chance to second-guess herself. He took her hand and led her forward. Half an hour later, they arrived at a luxury apartment that Liu Ruyan had purchased elsewhere. They walked inside together. Another hour passed by. Both Yifan and Liu Ruyan had finished changing and were leaving Liu Ruyan's home. At that exact moment, a series of photos of the two of them went viral and took the internet by storm once again. Netizens were excitedly sharing all kinds of pictures of the pair. First, there was the shot of them embracing in the hospital. Liu Ruyan, with eyes full of affection, was tenderly caressing Yifan's bruised face. The camera angle was so misleading it looked like they were kissing. Then came the shot of Yifan gripping Liu Ruyan's hand tightly, the two of them, hand in hand, strolling through the hospital corridor as if they were the only two people in the world. Finally, there was the scene of Liu Ruyan driving Yifan to her private apartment, followed by the two of them leaving together after changing their clothes. Regardless of the truth, the netizens now were letting the insults fly without restraint, riding this wave of public outcry. The internet was set ablaze with rage once more. People began panic selling their Liu family stocks. In the blink of an eye, the Liu group's shares went into a freefall. Liu Ruyan and Yifan were completely oblivious to the chaos. Yifan was too preoccupied to check his phone, while Liu Ruyan was focused on driving. It was actually quite laughable when you thought about it. Yifan, the supposed assistant, acted with more authority than the CEO, while Liu Ruyan looked like his personal secretary. The two soon arrived at the base of his company building. This time, no one in the company dared to stand in Liu Ruyan's way. She was a familiar face around here after all. All the business dealings between the Liu group and the Chen group had been handled personally by Liu Ruyan. Her ultimate plan was to wait until the wedding, so she could seize the maximum amount of assets. As for the chairman's office, it often served as Liu Ruyan's own private workspace. She had long since prepared herself to take over the Chen family fortune. Liu Ruyan walked straight in with total confidence. But the employees watched her with eyes full of cold resentment, especially since she had the audacity to bring Yifan along. They gossiped furiously in their private chats. What a shameless woman. She's absolute scum. Her skin is thicker than a brick wall. She actually dared to bring her boy toy right into our company. They wondered if President Chen would be so enraged that he'd just get rid of both of them right then and there. Shen Yuka's secretary, Liu Qingqing, blocked the door and said, "You two cannot go in. The chairman and the general manager are inside discussing vital business. Move. Do you have any idea who you're blocking? You dare to stop the chairman's fiancé. Do you have a death wish or something?" Yifan, playing his part as the assistant, shoved Liu Qingqing roughly aside to clear a path for Liu Ruyan. This chairman's office was a place Liu Ruyan knew like the back of her hand. Even Yifan was no stranger to this place. The two of them had been here countless times before, but this was the very first time they had come here to see him. Yifan treated the office as if it were his own home. He didn't even bother to knock. He just pushed the door open and barged right in. At that moment, he was sitting in the chairman's chair. As soon as Liu Ruyan stepped through the doorway, she saw exactly what was happening. How could you two do this? Liu Ruyan's face turned beet red with fury. Her lips were trembling uncontrollably. Her eyes welled up with tears in an instant. His eyes burned with a hatred that could reach the heavens. Liu Ruyan, Yifan, this pair of adulterers had tormented him to death in his past life. Now the three of them were gathered together once again. But the scene had changed, and so had the people. He was no longer that pathetic, self-sacrificing fool, with no love left in his heart. He naturally had no fear of being hurt by them. With a heart full of vengeance, he wouldn't hesitate for a second to strike back. He spoke in a cold, stern voice. "Who gave you permission to enter? Get out." Before Liu Ruyan could say a word, Yifan cut her off. "Brother Chen Mo, Sister Ruyan came here specifically to apologize to you. This is all just a big misunderstanding. How could you, right in front of Sister Ruyan, be intimate with another woman?" Hearing Yifan speak made him feel physically nauseous. A man putting on such a weak, delicate act. That effeminate, fragile behavior was absolutely disgusting. He couldn't fathom why Liu Ruyan liked this kind of man. Did that weak, easily bullied persona really trigger some twisted protective instinct in her? His face darkened with contempt. He said coldly, "If you don't leave right now, I'll have security drag you both out. You better get lost while you still have some dignity left. Learn how to knock before you think about coming back in." This time, Liu Ruyan couldn't maintain her composure either. She never expected his personality to change so drastically overnight. He was like a completely different person. He even had the nerve to speak to her that way. She said indignantly, "Chen Mo, do you even realize what you're saying? How dare you try to kick me out? You should be kicking her out. Did you forget? You gave me your word. You promised you would keep your distance from Shen Yuchu." He was absolutely livid. Yifan saw that the situation was spiraling out of control. He quickly grabbed Liu Ruyan and pulled her back toward the door. At that moment, Shen Yuchu's secretary Liu Mengyao looked incredibly awkward. She spoke up, "I'm so sorry. Chairman, General Manager, I couldn't stop them from barging in. Go and make it clear to the security team and the front desk. From this moment on, without my express permission, Liu Ruyan and the dog she keeps by her side are banned from this building." "Yes, Chairman? I'll notify them immediately." Liu Mengyao turned to leave. She made sure to carefully close the door behind her. Before she left, she shot a sharp glare at Liu Ruyan and Yifan. Her eyes were filled with nothing but contempt and hatred. In the end, Yifan had to knock and ask for permission. Only then was Liu Ruyan allowed back into the office. She remembered how she used to walk into this room whenever she pleased. Yet now, she was forced to knock and wait for his command. This massive shift in power was almost impossible for her to accept. When they re-entered, Shen Yuchu was no longer sitting on his lap. She stood obediently behind him. Like a devoted attendant, she was gently massaging his shoulders. This sight pierced through Liu Ruyan's every nerve like a needle. But this time, she didn't resort to screaming or aggression. She spoke in a softened tone, "Chen Mo, I know last night was my fault. I came here to apologize to you. I was just under so much stress at the time. Yifan was in a car accident and lost consciousness when the hospital called me. They told me he was in critical condition." Speaking of which, she felt a slight pang of guilt. "Then who is this person standing right behind you, looking perfectly healthy and full of life?" Yifan looked no different from a normal person right now. Seeing his mocking gaze, Liu Ruyan felt a wave of unease. She was starting to regret bringing Yifan along. "Go on, keep talking. I'm fascinated. Are the doctors at Central Hospital all just quacks now? If there was nothing wrong, why would they suddenly call to say he was severely injured? And besides, Yifan supposedly passed out from the crash. Where on earth did the hospital get your phone number?" Liu Ruyan was completely at a loss for words. She had been so blinded by worry before that she hadn't stopped to think through any of these details. Being cornered like this. Liu Ruyan suddenly had a moment of clarity. "That's right, Yifan. You're clearly perfectly fine. Why did the doctor call me and tell me you were critically injured and that you had passed out? How did the doctor even get my personal number?" His eyes darted back and forth frantically. He looked incredibly guilty and unnatural. He stammered, his mind racing for a long time. I really was in a crash. It must have happened after I got to the hospital, when I finally came to. In my delirium, I kept calling out Sister Ruyan's name over and over. I must have remembered your number subconsciously. I probably recited it to the doctor. That's why the doctor called you. Yifan was practically ready to applaud his own brilliance. To think he could come up with such a perfect excuse on the fly. Just look at that foolish woman, Liu Rian. She actually believed every single word of it. She was even moved to tears because Yifan always kept her in his heart. What a pathetic, transparent excuse. And yet Liu Ruyan was gullible enough to buy it. From the very first moment she laid eyes on Yifan, Shen Yuchu could tell he was a total fraud. If he were a woman, he'd be a world-class green tea bitch. Shen Yuchu watched the scene unfold and then asked, Liu Ruyan holds a very special place in your heart, doesn't she? Yifan nodded emphatically. Of course. Sister Ruyan is my only family in this entire world. However, I find it hard to believe you know her number by heart. Could you give us a demonstration right now? I'd love to see for myself just how deep your feelings really go. Liu Ruyan already had a deep-seated prejudice against Shen Yuchu. She looked at Shen Yuchu. It irritated her that she didn't believe Yifan cared for her. She quickly said to Yifan, go ahead, recite my number for her. Show her what true, sincere devotion looks like. But this time, Yifan was truly broken out in a cold sweat. Only now did he understand the weight of the saying. One lie requires 1,000 more to cover it up. He pretended to be deep in thought, but after a long while, he couldn't even mutter a single digit. Beads of sweat began to form on his forehead. Shen Yuchu asked, what's the matter? Did you suddenly forget? Liu Ruyan couldn't stand to watch any longer. She was sick of Shen Yuchu's contemptuous, biting attitude. She frowned and glared at her. She said angrily, what's the rush? Yifan was just in a car accident yesterday. He's probably still a bit shaken up and confused. Just give him a moment and he'll have it. Watching Liu Ruyan desperately protect Yifan made his heart ache. Even breathing felt like a sharp pain, but he had already called off the engagement with both of them. Today, he had to make things crystal clear with Liu Ruyan. If they ever crossed paths again, they wouldn't be friends. They would be enemies, plain and simple. Since Liu Ruyan was so intent on protecting Yifan, then he naturally had to protect Shen Yuchu. He looked at Liu Ruyan and Yifan with pure contempt. Then he asked with a sarcastic sneer, how about I give you a little hint? The first digit is a 1. Right. It's a 1. Yifan seemed to have a sudden spark of memory. But after saying that, he couldn't remember a single number that followed. He stammered and stuttered for a while, but nothing came out. By now, even Liu Ruyan had realized the truth. Yifan didn't know her phone number at all, but she refused to lose face in front of Shen Yuchu. She felt forced to help Yifan find an excuse. It's a side effect of the accident. He hasn't fully recovered his memory yet. Besides, who even memorizes phone numbers these days? I don't even remember my own number half the time. He gave a faint, cold smile. Is that so? Then why do I remember it so clearly? He recited Liu Ruyan's phone number perfectly without a second thought. He even recited her ID number from memory. Actually, it wasn't just those numbers. He still remembered every single important date for Liu Ruyan, like her birthday or even her monthly cycle, even her bank passwords and all her app logins. Whenever Liu Ruyan forgot something, she didn't even have to try and remember it herself. She just had to make one quick call to him. He could always give her the exact information she needed instantly. Liu Ruyan looked at his calm, indifferent face. She had no idea just how much of a shock this was to him. Her phone number and her ID number. If there weren't other people in the room, Liu Ruyan would have definitely lunged at him and planted several passionate kisses on his face. Liu Ruyan was insanely moved by this. She knew it. He still loved her deeply. He knew everything about her by heart. Shen Yuchu, on the other hand, was visibly upset. It turns out that when someone truly cares about another, some things are etched into their very bones. How could they ever be forgotten? Shen Yuka's words were laced with a sharp hidden meaning. She was slapping Liu Ruyan and Yifan in the face, while showing just how intensely jealous she was. The scent of jealousy was thick enough to fill the entire room. How could he not understand what was happening? He had really dug a hole for himself this time. Liu Ruyan was about to explode with fury. This snow mountain flower was about to wither from pure rage. She saw him and Shen Yuchu acting as if no one else existed. It was like they were flirting and teasing each other right in front of her, especially when Shen Yuchu called her an outsider. And he didn't even bother to correct her. She stopped pretending to be virtuous and refined. She marched straight toward Shen Yuchu. She grabbed her and yanked her up. You're just a lowly foster daughter. How dare you try to seduce my fiancé? Get out of here right now. Unexpectedly, after Shen Yuchu was insulted by Liu Ruyan, he stood up and delivered a thunderous slap to Liu Ruyan's face. Liu Ruyan was completely blindsided. Shen Yuchu and Yifan were also left stunned and speechless. The three of them couldn't wrap their heads around it. Why had he changed so drastically and so fast? Was it really just because Liu Ruyan had skipped the wedding? They had no way of knowing the truth. This slap contained all the pent-up hatred of 2 lifetimes. Every time he remembered the tragedy of his past life and Liu Ruyan's cold-blooded indifference, her betrayal and her abandonment, had ruthlessly trampled on his most sincere love, and that bastard Yifan too. daring to steal the woman he loved most in his previous life. If it weren't for the need to stay rational, he would have wanted to kill Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan right there, this pair of pathetic adulterers. But he knew the consequences of going too far would be severe. The Liu family wouldn't just let him off the hook, and the law would prosecute him to the fullest extent. He didn't need to sacrifice his own life for them. Liu Ruyan stood there dazed, clutching her burning cheek. From the time she was a small child, no one had ever dared to lay a hand on her, not even the person who used to spoil her rotten. Tears blurred her vision almost instantly, not from the physical pain, but from the sheer shock of it. She looked at him in total confusion. The man who was once willing to be a lovesick fool for her, now had not a single trace of affection in his eyes. Only cold, hard hatred remained. Yi Fan also panicked. He quickly stepped in front of Liu Ruyan, his face grim. "Brother, how could you hit Ruyan? She came all the way here just to apologize to you. You're going way too far." He let out a sharp, cold laugh. His gaze swept over Yi Fan with icy disdain. "Too far, hitting her was me being merciful. How clean do you really think you are?" Back then, in the bridal suite, who was the one whispering and cuddling with him? Who was the one who made me skip the wedding for you? Who was the one who lied to me about that hospital call? Do you dare to say you didn't have any selfish motives? Yi Fan was left completely speechless by the questions. His face turned from a flush of red to a pale white. His eyes darted around the room. He didn't dare to look him in the eye. Only then did Liu Ruyan finally realize. Yi Fan's explanation was full of holes. He suddenly grabbed Yi Fan's arm. "Tell me the truth. Was that phone call a setup you planned? Did you know all along that you were perfectly fine? Have you been lying to me this whole time?" Yi Fan winced from the painful grip. He shoved the hand away with force. "I didn't. I wasn't lying to you. It's your own fault for being so stupid. You're just too gullible." As soon as those words were spoken, Liu Ruyan's heart went completely cold. She had always treated Yi Fan like her own flesh and blood. She had done everything in her power to protect him. She never expected to be betrayed by him in the end. Shen Yushu walked over to his side. She gently took his hand, signaling him not to get too worked up. He squeezed Shen Yushu's hand back, feeling the warmth in her palm. His gaze softened slightly. But when he looked back at Liu Ruyan and Yi Fan, it was as cold as ever. "Liu Ruyan, I'm telling you this for the last time. Our engagement is officially over. From now on, we are finished. We owe each other nothing. Everything the Liu family owes me, I will take back, bit by bit. And you, Yi Fan,
You exploited Liu Ruyan's trust.
you ruined my engagement. You destroyed everything from my past. We'll settle this debt slowly, one step at a time." Just then, the office door was pushed open. Wang Jing entered, carrying a stack of documents. Two police officers followed behind her. "Chairman, the Liu family has completely collapsed. Their stocks are in a free fall. They've officially become insolvent." The matriarch Liu Huiqin was so enraged that she passed away before help could arrive. Qin Hai has been arrested for embezzlement and bribery. Qin Ba and the others have also been indicted. They'll likely spend the rest of their lives in prison. Hearing the news, Liu Ruyan's body went limp. She nearly collapsed to the floor. Grandma is dead. Dad has been arrested. The Liu family is ruined. In an instant, she had lost everything. Seeing the situation, Yi Fan panicked. He only stuck with Liu Ruyan for the family's wealth. Now that the Liu family was gone, he had nothing left to gain. He couldn't keep up the act anymore. He turned and spat venomous words at Liu Ruyan. "This is all your fault, Liu Ruyan. If you weren't so stupid and easily fooled, I wouldn't be in this mess. I only wanted to use you to get close to the Chen family. I didn't realize you were so useless. You couldn't even keep a simple engagement. Now that the Liu family is finished, there's no point in me pretending anymore." With that, Yi Fan turned to run, but he was blocked by the police at the door. "Mr. Yi Fan, you are under suspicion of fraud and defamation. Please come with us." The officers stepped forward and handcuffed him. Yi Fan struggled desperately, screaming about his innocence, but no one spared him a glance. Finally, he was dragged away by the police. Liu Ruyan stood frozen in place, her entire body trembling uncontrollably. She watched Yi Fan's retreating back as he was taken away. Thinking of her grandmother's death and her father's arrest, and his ice-cold gaze, she finally realized how ridiculously wrong she had been. She took a few steps toward him and slowly sank to her knees. "I know I was wrong. I really truly know I was wrong. Can you give me one more chance? I won't be stubborn anymore. I'll never protect Yi Fan again. I just want to go back to how things were. Back to when you were still good to me." He looked down at Liu Ruyan, weeping bitterly on the floor. His heart didn't even flicker. The Chen Mo of the past might have felt pity. He might have softened, but the current Chen Mo only had room for Shen Yushu in his heart, and the peace that comes with revenge. He gently pulled his hand from Shen Yushu's grasp and looked down at Liu Ruyan from above. "It's too late. I gave you chances, but you're the one who didn't cherish them. You destroyed everything we had with your own hands, and you destroyed yourself in the process. Get up. I won't do anything else to you, but I will never give you another chance. Ever?" Liu Ruyan saw the finality in his eyes and knew all hope was gone. She collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. Her cries were filled with regret and despair. Shen Yushu looked at her, without a hint of pity in her heart. She got exactly what she deserved. This was all her own doing. He turned his head towards Shen Yushu, his gaze instantly becoming tender. Sister, let's go. Everything here is finished. Shen Yushu nodded. She followed him out. As they passed Liu Ruyan, neither of them spared her a single glance. Walking out of the chairman's office, the company employees greeted them respectfully. Their eyes were filled with awe and fear. From now on, no one would dare look down on him, and no one would dare gossip about Shen Yushu being an adopted daughter. He and Shen Yushu stepped into the elevator. The elevator slowly descended. He held Shen Yushu's hand tightly. Sister, you have me now? I won't let anyone bully you ever again, and I won't let you suffer even a moment of grievance. Shen Yushu looked into his sincere eyes. Her eyes welled up with tears. She nodded softly. Okay, we'll be together forever. We'll never be apart. The elevator doors opened. Side by side, they walked out of the Yibo building. The morning sun shone brightly upon them, warm and radiant. As if it had chased away all the gloom and darkness, the pain of the past was finally behind them.